Welcome, everybody, to Crystal Legacy. Let's see here. I need to figure out how to turn the goddamn volume down, dude. It's so loud. I don't want to mute it. Tools, settings, audio, video, volume. Oh, cool. I don't know what that's going to sound like on y'all's end. One sec. That's still loud. 1 second. Gotta fix this. Go down to 3% audio. That seems perfect. Is that even audible to you guys? Big news? Oh, let's look at the big news. Sig says it's big news. Let's see if it's big news. Nope, because I did everything by the books. Even, Jesus, why am I so dark in the... Why is my camera so dark? Here, 1 sec. Do I just need to get, like, super close? It wasn't this dark, like, 20 minutes ago when I checked it. Do I need to go, like... That just makes me orange. All right, I guess we're gaming in the dark today. What the f? It shouldn't be this dark. I have a bright ass full light bulb right in front of me. Anyways, I did everything by the book because I did not want to get clapped. Because I already own a copy of Crystal, Gold and Silver, because I'm a badass. Because I'm cool as Oh, dude, 2 to 3% audio. It's perfect. Never mind. Okay, cool. Let's see here. Tools, settings. When I say I'm like moving it by like 1%, I'm moving it like, is that good? Because I can't really control it that closely. You know what would be really cool? If there was a button that I could press for shortcuts. Audio, mute, keyboard. Make it this button. Apply. Okay. I can mute it at will. Anyways, I own a copy of Crystal. I patched it. All right. All legal. I mean, if my... Oh, I have to turn this way, don't I? If my extensive retro collection didn't give you a hint, I am big into old Nintendo games. Big fan. All right. Huge fan, in fact. Real quick, if you're watching on YouTube, please like the stream. There's 4 people watching on YouTube, but only 2 likes. And the more likes we get in the beginning of the stream, the better. Let me just get through the new game part of this. We're going to be doing hard difficulty. So basically what this is, what we're looking at here is a patch of the game that includes some quality of life fixes, you know, stuff like that. And then it also has options like this for hard mode or normal mode. Normal would be just normal Pokemon. Hard though. Oh. Which button do I have to press? Oh, I have to click on it first. So you play in set mode, no items in battle, gym level caps. So basically all of the basic rules of a Nuzlocke, but it doesn't automatically kill your Pokemon. Has not enforcing antitrust. Like historically, the reason we don't have good transportation is because the electric trolleys were bought by the oil companies and scrapped. I don't know how accurate that is. I think there's a couple of things. Like people just like the idea of driving around, especially back then when it was super novel, right? I was like, well, let me just get through this. Oh wait, what time is it? It is 4. All right, 10 seconds until it's 4:55. Oh, I overslept. Okay, cool. Again, right after we get through the intro here, we'll start clicking on links. Look at that goofy ass smile. How can you hate a Pokemon like Wooper? Kind of like the suburbs? Yeah, I would imagine so. All right. Now you guys will see why my name is Sondsol. S-O-N-D-S-O-L. Because it's the perfect amount of characters or just the right amount of characters for a Pokemon game. I had to smush 2 words together. I think I was playing Heart Gold for the first time when I made that name. No, wait, when did Heart Gold even come out? 2010? No, it would have been slightly before that. The initial release date was September 2009. But in 2010, I would have already been in high school. And by that time, I think I would have already have made... It must have been the original Gold and Silver. Heart Gold was a remake? Well, yeah, I know. Heart Gold was a remake of the original Gold and Silver. Okay. Real quick. Mute. All right, so going by the links that were just given to me in... Oh, wait, hold on. Let me drag some stuff over to this window. Come on. There you go. We got some videos that I want to watch. Also, there was, like... There's now evidence that's come out that Trump took a $10 million bribe from Egypt and that Bill Barr's DOJ shut the investigation down. And I haven't seen barely anybody talking about it. Maybe it's just because I haven't been able to touch on, news as much in the past couple of days. But my God, how has that not come out at this point? That's insane. Anyways, let's look at these. So this is what Sieg sent. Judge rules that Google is a monopolist in U.S. antitrust case. Oh, shit. In the search and advertising markets. Oh, man. It is funny the department to investigate the president is ran by the president. Well, yes, that's funny. But also, in the reason why it sounds funny to us now is because Donald Trump used the DOJ as like a hammer and a shield. Instead of the DOJ is supposed to have some, keep the president at an arm's length. But under Trump, if the attorney general didn't immediately, cave to his wishes, then he was either forced out, fired, told to resign, or they resigned in protest. How many attorney generals did he have? 3? And one of them, oh man, I can see his face. It's the one that left for, because he wouldn't recuse himself, or he recused himself from the Mueller investigation, and Trump didn't want him to. Trump wanted him to stop the Mueller investigation. Oh, I just messed up my windows. Dang it. Google's about to release Skynet to prevent regulation. True. Essentially, if this ruling holds, Google search engine and ads have to be broken up. I know, that's insane. Which, in terms of YouTube and advertising there and making money there is going to be kind of spooky. And also the fact that Google runs 50% of the world net is also really spooky to think of how that's going to work with it split up. But it's probably a good thing, more competition and less, consolidated power in one company's hands is probably a good thing. TLS pointed to, I hate the new pinning. Unpin this message. I click around too much. Jeff Sessions, thank you so much. Because I just click around and highlight while I write things. I'm going to accidentally ban someone, or I keep on pinning messages. TLS pointed that out with the Supreme Court ruling, which even though I agree with how the court ruled it, it really shouldn't be that way. Okay, well, let's read this really quick. Usually the economy works better. Oh yeah, almost certainly. I'm not talking about the economy working better. I'm talking about the specifics around, how the internet functions. Because again, as we talked about last time, I am super just not very knowledgeable about how servers work, how search engines work, how any of these things work. I could become educated in it, but I can only learn so much, A good example of this being good is Google's targeting ad blocks on its Chromium browser that basically all browsers except for Firefox uses. Targeting ad blockers on its so because it's targeting ad blockers, now ad blockers will likely have a much easier time getting around that, right? Because it's not going to be every single search engine, or I'm sorry, web browser using the same basic, skeleton. MSNBC has covered the Trump Egypt story. I know, only MSNBC has, which makes me wonder if there's more to. I'm sorry, I totally lost my train of thought there. MSNBC being the only one that covers it makes me wonder, is this a true thing? Because MSNBC is pretty far left in terms of its. I'm sorry, when I say far left, I'm talking about it skews to the left hardcore, almost as bad as the Young Turks, right? Oh, speaking of the Young Turks, yes. But these are hyper partisan news organizations, in my opinion. So it makes me wonder, is this true? Why hasn't anybody else picked it up? Because they don't have the fact checking capabilities, or what is the reason why they haven't picked up this story? Because it seems pretty crazy, right? More like MSDNC, true? All right. A federal judge ruled that Google violated U.S. antitrust laws by maintaining a monopoly in the search and advertising markets. After having carefully considered weighed the witness testimony and evidence, the court reaches the following conclusion. Google is a monopolist, and it has acted as one to maintain its monopoly. Good. Major victory of the Department of Justice, which accused Google of illegally monopolizing the online search market. Didn't this just get filed too? Or am I thinking of them just filing something against Apple? Because I feel like if this was, because it feels like they only filed this a month or two ago, right? Oh, no. Filed in 2020. Okay. 10-week trial, the Google search case last fall. These cases take forever? Yeah, but I feel like, maybe I only heard about it relatively recently. Maybe that's what the case is. Yeah, of course. I imagine that it would take longer, which is why I was confused. But I guess maybe it was filed in 2020 and the trial took place last fall for 10 weeks. I'm going to hold on to that, and I'll probably read the rest of it in my off time, because I just don't. I'm going to have to learn a lot about the stuff surrounding it, because I don't know a lot about anything to do with it, The Apple one's going to be big? I imagine so, because isn't that one about the App Store and how they're monopolizing an entire market of app sales? This year has been the year about politics. Man, this year has been crazy, especially the past couple of months. This summer is probably going to be studied by political scientists for a long time. This election cycle is going to be studied by political scientists for a long time, dude. Feel free to ask me any tech questions too. Yeah, I just need to have them come up, and then you would be the first person that I would go to about it. Killer Sieg, our tech analyst contributor. All right. Clarence Thomas breaks with Supreme Court over Donald Trump trial lawsuit. Close. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas broke with the majority of the Supreme Court on Monday in a ruling that prevented the state of Missouri from suing the state of New York over Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg's props. Why would Missouri be able to sue the state of New York over a Manhattan District Attorney prosecuting Donald Trump? Trump was found guilty on 34 counts of falsifying business records in May, and if there are no other delays, will be sentenced in September. Trump's trial hasn't shown to have a huge impact on his ability to win the election this year, but Missouri Attorney General Andrew Bailey argued that the gag order and sentencing occurring before the election infringes on the rights of Missouri voters. The Supreme Court, however, disagreed. In an order on Monday, it denied Bailey's motion to file a complaint against Bragg, and since he couldn't file the complaint, they rendered the relief he sought as moot. Thomas and the Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito agreed with the court to not grant the relief Bailey wanted, but broke with the other justices on the decision to prevent the lawsuit from taking place. Thomas and Alito would grant the motion to file the bill of complaint. But what would be their standing? Okay, this is just recapping stuff. Bailey argued in his legal filing that Bragg created constitutional harms that threatened to infringe on Missouri voters' rights. He said that the gag order and impending sentence prevent the electors from fulfilling their federal functions and violate the First Amendment rights of Missouri citizens to listen to Trump's campaign speeches about the case. Here's a legitimate question. Do you have a constitutional right to listen to someone? They're not saying you're not allowed to listen to this guy. They're telling this other guy that he can't talk about specific things in the file or in the court case. Why do you think we watch you? Listen, I don't know why you guys watch me. Not gonna lie. Bailey also claimed in his filings that the gag order in sentencing violates the per-sell principle, which states courts shouldn't change election rules prior to the election because of the potential to cause confusion for voters and issues for officials tasked with administering the election. But there aren't election rules being challenged. Missouri respectfully submits that the foregoing violations establish considerable harms to voters. This is insane. Okay, election rules are being challenged. Check this out. I don't know what this is going to be. Let's be careful.
Thank you for joining. Not the brightest day for Donald Trump.
Okay, I thought this was going to be like a Rick roll or something. Let's see what this is.
He just came off of his rally in, where was he?
Like a Hail Mary? See, by the way, it's Hail Mary. But yeah, it was a Hail Mary lawsuit, and it's just stupid. I just want people to be normal, man. Someone put Matt Black on their Cybertruck, and I oddly like it. Okay, Matt Black on the Cybertruck looks kind of cool. Listen, the Cybertruck looks kind of cool. The problem with it is that it's like barely functional hunk of metal that will break at the like slightest jolt or anything like that. Pair that with the maintenance that goes into cleaning the stainless steel all over it, not worth buying. But Matt Black does take away the cosmetic issues, or at least a lot of them. And I think you should be able to sue for wasting state resources, but then how would Republicans be able to, keep our elections free and fair? See? Okay, let's see.
See today in Georgia, of course, and he made a decision that wasn't exactly the smartest strategic decision in the world.
We'll listen to this for just a minute just to see what this guy's talking about, and we'll get through some of the game here.
World. So I want to not bury the lead here and jump right into what Donald Trump just did in Georgia that will invariably not help his campaign.
Hey, thank you for the 100 bits, my friend. Actually, this video, for some reason, it jumped to the wrong one.
This is Democracy Watch. Mark, Republicans were just dealt a blow in court that had...
Wait, is this about the same topic? One second, let me just read what Tron's saying here real quick. I think the most egregious thing with the Apple one is Apple intentionally destroys video quality if you send it from an Android. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I think there was that case where a bunch of kids got stabbed at the river. One of the perspective of the stabbing, the quality of the camera was destroyed because of the Apple intentional gimping. Is that what it's called? It's clearly smart, not stupid. He needed to do some bold, crazy actions to earn the favor of the future God King. True. Trying to cancel votes. I thought that they were against cancel culture.
Has really, really far-reaching consequences for them. So this case in Mississippi was supposed to be their meal ticket here. What happened to them instead?
They lost. And this is a really, really important case that the RNC lost. I know what people are thinking. They're thinking, well, this is some voting case in Mississippi. No, this is the case that the Republican National Committee in Washington, D.C. sent their high-priced lawyers from Washington, D.C. down to Mississippi to try to win when nobody was noticing because they thought they had an inside track to undermine vote by mail around the country. And my legal team, we saw this case, we spotted it for what it was, we got into that case on behalf...
One second, let me hear him again.
Because they thought they had an inside track to undermine vote by mail around the country. And my legal team, we saw this case, we spotted it for what it was. We got into that case on behalf of some really good voting organizations. We beat them, and so that is a big win, not just for voters in Mississippi, but around the country.
So basically, to clarify for this case, they wanted to say that any mail-in ballots that arrived after Election Day were unconstitutional, could be discarded, and then they wanted to use that as the predicate to then get a nationwide injunction against counting any ballots across the entire as the predicate be discarded arrived. Basically, to clarify for this case, they wanted to say that any mail-in ballots that arrived after Election Day were unconstitutional, could be discarded, and then they wanted to use that as the predicate to then get a nationwide injunction against counting any ballots across the entire country after Election Day. So if that was the case, what impact?
How could they have an injunction? Now, this is just because I don't know how far reaching the rules are for what states can and can't do with their elections. I'm pretty sure states have the ultimate authority on how elections are held in their state. So how would the Republicans have any standing, any right to seek a nationwide injunction on this? Literally trying to cancel overseas staff votes? True. Again, traditionally, the majority of mail-in votes that get cast are from military personnel. Traditionally, them and old people, which is usually goes towards the Republican Party. But only last election cycle was it more Democrats because of COVID, right? And Donald Trump was telling everyone, don't vote by mail. And then they didn't vote by mail, and then they lost. So mail-in ballots sent by mail usually have a deadline for being postmarked by Election Day and a later date for being received. Each state's rules are probably different. Yeah, I imagine so. Yeah, imagine being a Black Ops Marine stationed in Poland and preparing for World War III and your vote not being counted because it didn't arrive on time. Yeah, either as they tried in multiple states which have also struck this down. Well, yeah, I imagine so because it's their state's rules. They don't get to tell. Yeah.
Would that have had on the election?
It would have had a dramatic impact. I mean, you'd be talking about tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of ballots not counting, like literally being thrown in the trash, right? People who otherwise cast lawful votes, but because the post office was slow, or because, they're in a state that doesn't have drop boxes, or because...
Real quick, give me some guidance, all right? Because this is a more balanced game, so all three of the starters are viable, all right? My favorite is Cyndaquil, but I always choose Cyndaquil. So it's in between Cyndaquil and Chikorita, all right? Because I don't know why I do not like Totodile. I do not like him. So what do I do? Which one should I choose? Should I go with because there's so many more options in this version. Like we can get Houndour, or we could fill in with fire with Houndour or with Arcanine. Check the smash or pass ratings. No, listen, we do not sexualize Pokemon on this stream, okay? This is a wholesome stream where we respect Pokemon and we just have them battle each other in Mortal Kombat for our enjoyment. Sondsol is boring. Man, you're so lucky we're on Twitch. You're so lucky we're on Twitch, because there is a 3-word sentence that I want to say to you right now. Silver? No, this is Crystal Legacy. So you pick the lower scored one. You want me to pick the uglier Pokemon-tron? Almost as good? Do you even know what Crystal Legacy is? Crystal Legacy is supposed to be the definitive version of Generation 2. Perfectly balanced, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think I'm going to go with Chikorita.
Whatever reason, their lawful votes wouldn't have counted.
I like Cyndaquil.
And Brian, to tell you how big of an issue this is, they have tried this lawsuit in Illinois. They tried it in North Dakota. They've tried it in Nevada. In Nevada, they brought the Trump campaign in, right? In Nevada, they're suing. It was the RNC and the Trump campaign itself brought a lawsuit. They lost in Nevada. Their plan was, we're going to bring this case in Mississippi. It won't attract the attention that it does in a bunch of these other states. And maybe we sneak it by.
Listen, what I want to do is here. There are so many cool Johto Pokemon. Johto is probably my favorite generation. All right. And I want to use as like mostly, if not only, Johto Pokemon. This is the 4th commercial break this stream. Why are there so many commercials? It's supposed to be 2 minutes per hour. Okay. So if we go with, so we have grass here. I was thinking about doing Xatu or Exatu or however people say it. No, I just like the Pokemon, man. The new mechanics, cool. All that's cool, but I like the Pokemon. And I like the setting and all that. I like the region. But what can we use for our, like, I kind of really want to get a Scizor. Like, that would be cool as hell. I'll probably end up going with like an Espeon or an Umbreon. So there's 3 Pokemon. I kind of want to get a Larvitar. I want to do Pokemon that I've never had before, you know? Wait, Kame Yoriko, how old are you? I thought that you were my age or younger. Because the day-night cycle was just like normal because I was like, what, 5 years old when this game came out? Larvitar was awesome. Yeah, he's cool as I thought about doing like a dark only, like doing like a monotype build team. Because I think it'd be cool to like have like an actual like themed team or some shit like that. But I don't know. Like Heracross is supposed to be super cool. So maybe I don't go with Scizor. Or maybe we just go for like catch it, like try and do all, what, 251 Pokemon? Make sure you can use all the HMs. Maybe we'll try and like catch every Pokemon. All right. Maybe that's what we'll do. Because they have all 251, including Mew and Mewtwo and Celebi and all of the Pokemon in the game. But what about Hitmontop? Hitmontop is cool as bro, what are we gonna do? We just gotta dive into it. I'm gonna go with Chikorita though, because I don't think that there's any other grass type in Johto that I want to use. How many grass types are there even in Johto? 1, 2. 2 lines, 3 lines. There's only 3, huh? He has weak stats. Who has weak stats? Again, here, we're barely getting through this video. I'll show you what we're playing here in a second. But this is a like community made, like highly balanced, like highly praised ROM hack that's supposed to keep the original feeling and the original like design intention behind Pokemon Crystal and like 2nd generation. So they're not like doing the special, you know, physical split. They're not doing anything like that. They're not adding in any new types, but they're like, you know, they're keeping everything as much the same as they can, but they're trying to make it to where like every Pokemon is at least somewhat viable or can be used, you know, in specific situations and not total trash. And I think the only exception to that was Delibird, which is Delibird even on here? Yeah, Delibird right there. Outside of Delibird, Lickitung, and Smeargle, which I guess is either god tier or trash. So it's supposed to be balanced so that you can use basically any Pokemon that you want. You can play the game with like an unbalanced like type team, but you know. I remember not thinking Missing No was real until I found him. I remember my older brother catching Missing No on his Pokemon Blue version, and then he dropped the cartridge into the bathtub, and then he tried to dry it off in the microwave, and that obviously didn't end out well. Shuckle shouldn't be viable. It was absolutely trash. Even Nintendo Power said it. It was trash because they gave it bad stats. I mean, you know what? I watched this like yesterday or something.
All right, so welcome to the Pokemon Crystal
Let's see
Legacy
where he
tier
put
list. Fence, Earthquake, Rock Slide.
Did he put Shuckle up there already? No Shuckle up there. Do we see Shuckle now? Do we see Shuckle now? Do we see Shuckle now? Where the is Shuckle?
Fire Punch. It's a late Pokemon. Kind of feels like a Snorlax. Pokemon. Okay, I never used these legendaries. Lugia is good. Ho-Oh is weird. Celebi's 4.
Am I blind? I would feel like he was either in C or B. Okay, he just hasn't put Shuckle down yet, I don't think.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, there you have our final tier list.
Nope.
All right, so welcome to the Pokemon Crystal Legacy tier. Here,
I'm blind. I must just be blind. It doesn't matter.
Blastoise is Lugia's Ice Beam, which is not amazing for it, but it's just got very solid stats, very nice, diverse moveset. Feels a lot like Feraligatr. It's a little bit later. We'll just put it with the water, you know, the solid water gang. Charizard is definitely the best starter of the three. It gets Outrage, which takes advantage of its nice physical attack. It is really good, but again, it's kind of a later pick. So I would put it.
I'm not losing my mind, right? There's not a Shuckle on the screen. There's no Shuckle on the screen? Fuck you, I'm going to the transcript. You forgot Stantler and Shuckle. Okay. I'm not insane. Okay, we're finishing this video and then we'll keep going, okay?
And then it goes up to the Fifth Circuit, right? If it gets appealed, it goes up to the Fifth Circuit. And we all know, Brian, you know, what happens from there. So this was a big stinging loss by a conservative judge appointed by President Bush, who just rejected their case from start to finish. And so I'm hoping it puts an end to this nonsense, dangerous theory that they have. Although, you know, we all know that they specialize in dangerous nonsense theories.
Mark, just to clarify here, was it your firm that represented the party in this case?
Yeah, so what happened is, you know, they bring this case against Mississippi. This is actually really interesting. There was a really insightful piece on Democracy Docket that one of the reporters wrote about this. They brought this case against Mississippi as, like I said, to try to bring a test case. The Republicans in Mississippi, I think, weren't in on the plan originally because they're like, oh, wait, the RNC doesn't want this law.
Wait, what is this people elbows person? Are you guys arguing about the stupid Olympic thing?
We'll just repeal the law. Like, so they start the process of being like, oh.
And RNC is like, no, keep the law.
Right, so literally the Mississippi legislature like starts passing a repeal, and the RNC is like, no, don't do that, because we want to be able to bring this case and just win easily. So what happened is, my law firm, we were contacted by some plaintiffs. We jumped in, or defendants actually, we jumped in to defend this law because we're afraid like Mississippi may not, although in fairness to Mississippi, they did defend the law. But we jumped in on behalf of our clients to protect this law.
Okay, I will let you guys choose the Chikorita's name. I'm going to listen to the video for a minute. And I'm going to take some suggestions from chat. After a couple of minutes, if I see one that I like, I'll choose it.
After they contact us, and that wound up being the thing that defeated it on the merits. This, you know, for all of the right wingers out there who are always like, oh, you know, Elias, he wins on standing, or this procedure. This was on the merits. The court, the judge found on the merits that the RNC lawsuit was wrong. It was wrong on the law.
Well, again, you know, that underscores the importance of the work that you and your team are doing right now in the courts. So for those watching, a very small step that we can all take to support this invaluable work is to sign up for Democracy Docket. It's the free news outlet Mark founded to focus on everything voting in elections. I'll put the link right here on the screen and also in the post description of this video. Again, it doesn't cost us anything. It is just a small step to show some support for this very important work that Mark and his team are doing. Mark, what kinds of voters would be most impacted if this law got struck down?
Okay, so I'd put it into two categories. The first is that we know that these ballot receipt deadline laws, which is what we call them, they disproportionately affect young voters and minority voters. Why? Because those two are the two populations that tend to have the worst mail service. They also oftentimes cast their ballots later, closer to Election Day, rather than earlier. So demographically, that's sort of one way to think about it. The other is that it would greatly impact overseas and military voters. So one of the things about this effort is, the people who oftentimes rely on these deadlines are members of the uniformed military and their families who are stationed overseas. And they really have very slow mail service. They have very slow mail service. So this is part of a disturbing trend by Republicans and their allies to do things that, frankly, really target in negative ways our men and women serving in uniform overseas. We have, this effort on these laws. We saw after 2022, a lawsuit by some conservatives to literally try to throw out overseas military ballots. And my law firm, we got involved and defeated that. And of course, most recently in Michigan, we have seen a lawsuit by the Republican Party to try to say that veterans can't get registered at the VA. I mean, why on earth would Republicans target veterans trying to get registered at the VA?
Mark, this is all so bizarre to me because we've been told that the Republicans are the party of the military and they beat their chests about supporting the troops. So something just isn't adding up here. It is so bizarre that
I think I'm going to go with Slambini, the great Slambini.
That the party of the military, just like how they're the party of family values, the party of states' rights, the party of fiscal responsibility, the party of the Constitution, doesn't seem to be able to comport with their own branding.
The party of Donald Trump is not the party of the military, and you know that, and I know that, right? This is a guy who denigrated war heroes, right? John McCain.
Yeah.
He called people who serve in the military suckers. Remember that? Yeah. And he has shown nothing but contempt for people who have served their country. So is it any real surprise that his RNC, run by his handpicked chair and his vice chair, who is his daughter-in-law, who I know, as I always point out, you are a big fan of her music career?
If I had a lighter right here, I'd be waving it right now.
Right. Is it any surprise that they don't care, that they show this kind of level of hypocrisy in targeting military voters?
Of course not. Is there any chance, and I have to ask this because we've done enough episodes of Democracy Watch that this is the obvious next question, is there any chance that Republicans can appeal their loss in this case and still get that nationwide injunction that they're seeking?
Look, I mean, I think that their plan has been to go to the Fifth Circuit, to appeal to the Fifth Circuit. It is a very conservative circuit. That there's no question about that. And we have seen in the last Supreme Court term a number of times where even this very conservative Supreme Court found that the Fifth Circuit went too far on many cases, and not necessarily voting cases, but other cases. And so, I can promise everyone watching, we are going to fight tooth and nail, whether it is in the trial court where we won, whether it is in the Fifth Circuit on appeal, whether it's in the U.S. Supreme Court, to not let that happen, to not let them win this case, to not let them disenfranchise people who want to vote by mail. But, that is why we fight every day in court, and that is the commitment I can make.
And just as a quick aside, for people wondering what the importance is for voting, if we look at the Fifth Circuit and the 11th Circuit, which are these historically very, very conservative courts, these judges don't live forever. And the only way we get new judges to take their places when they do retire or pass away is if we have a Democratic president who's actually in office. So if for no other reason than to vote for Kamala Harris in this upcoming election, when we look at these conservative courts who are in many ways the stopgaps, the safety valves for these Republicans looking to pass this kind of dangerous legislation, that is why. It is.
Oh shit, Sondsol is back. I am so back. I think they're just kind of like going around and saying the same thing over and over now. And I think we got it. Interesting. Okay. Really quick. For people that keep on talking about like shit stats of Pokemon, let me see. Does this guy have like a short video that goes over what the basic idea here is? 17 new. Okay. Let's see here.
Can't even begin to understand.
Intro, is there like an overview of what everything is?
Over the last year, I've spent 250 hours making the perfect ROM hack of Pokemon Crystal, and today I'm finally releasing it. In this video, we're going to cover the many exciting changes, including new teams, Pokemon buffs, storyline enhancements, and dozens of features added. Pokemon Crystal was the first video game I ever played as a child, and like many of you, it's a game I've loved ever since. Unfortunately, as the years have gone on, the internet has made me painfully aware of Gen 2's problems.
However, I will be trying to make a case for why I personally think that Gen 2 sucks ass.
Now, on one hand, I do still believe that Johto has masterpiece qualities, but there are so many small decisions that compound and stop it from reaching that potential. And the goal of this ROM hack is to make a version that reaches that potential, but still feels like the crystal you're familiar with. If you want to play this ROM hack yourself, make sure to stick around to the end. And with that,
Yeah, so it's supposed to still be familiar, still be Gen 2, still be, blah, 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 blah. And there's an hour-long video detailing all of the changes, right? Trainer levels, Pokemon fixes, Team Rocket, like Pokemon fixes.
Badge 3. Pokemon changes. Despite Gen 2 seeing many new Pokemon, very few of them actually had the combined traits of good stats, an effective learn set, and an early enough encounter location to be viable for playthroughs. Even many of the better Gen 1 Pokemon suffered by losing access to the significantly better TM pool of the first generation. With that in mind, our goal with making Pokemon-specific changes was to increase the number of options the player had to build teams with. It was not to make every Pokemon amazing, but I did my best to make sure almost every Pokemon is able to provide some small niche role over the course of a playthrough. Except for Delibird. Fuck that little mean piece of shit. What I'm trying to say is you'll find...
So, yeah. So we can go through, we can pick any Pokemon except for Delibird, which I didn't want Delibird. You know what? I don't know if I ever caught a Delibird. In all of the times that I've played Gen 2, I've never tried to do like a full, like catch every Pokemon in the Pokedex. I don't think I've ever caught or even know where Delibird would show up, or Smeargle, or what else have I never, I don't think I've ever seen a Teddy Ursa in the wild. You haven't presented a reality. Alleging that some people did or said something at some point isn't presenting reality. But does the hack allow you to bypass trait evolutions? It does. I can't remember, for Alakazam and Gengar, they're in the low to mid 40s that they evolve. I'm trying to think what else. With the Steel Coat for Thor and for Steelix, I think that it's like a Water Stone or a Firestone. Yeah. Anyways, let's see. What all do I have on here? We weren't going to go through that. We looked at that. We don't need to watch that. Don't need that. I'll hold on to that. I'm going to hold on to those links right there. And then there was 5,000 things that people told me to watch on the content suggestions. Man, see, you linked Russell Brand. I don't know if I can watch Russell Brand, bro. I can't stand him. Maybe we'll give it a shot. I guess we'll open
the U.S. and Russia.
This says Olympic boxing controversy explained in 3 minutes. This is a 45-minute video. Okay, this is just his entire show. So we'll go to... So this starts at 7 minutes and 35 seconds. This is another 7 minutes. Why would he say... Yeah. I just don't understand. The Russell Brand one isn't that important. I mean, maybe we'll watch it. It's just...
The plot thickens.
I just can't stand
on
the
this
guy.
fighter.
He's just so stupid. He's kind of like a more irritating Joe Rogan, because at least Joe Rogan has some he seems like a normal-ish person, a little bit conspiracy-brained, of course, but he seems like a normal person. You could talk to him and have fun. Russell Brand, I don't feel that way, dude. I don't feel like I could talk to Russell Brand. I feel like I would both be sketched out by just him being who he is, and also I don't think that he has anything intelligent to say, No, wrong window. Open on this one. Okay. And we'll probably look at that too. Trans talking points. So true. Anything else that we should look at? No, I don't think so. Was the new Joe Rogan stand-up any good? Have never watched Joe Rogan stand-up. Have never sat through a Joe Rogan podcast. I think the longest segment of a Joe Rogan podcast I ever watched was him and Cornel West. Back when Hey, Wick, thank you for the Prime sub, my guy. You see the Aiden Ross and Trump collab? I saw that live on my feed earlier today through Fox News on YouTube, and I have no desire to watch it. What could I possibly... Wait, are these different... Okay. I can't imagine someone that I would rather watch less than anything that Aiden Ross has to say about politics. Like a grown man version of Caillou? Jesus, that's rough, dude. That's brutal. Only if you genuinely enjoy cringe, maybe we'll watch it as like a cringe last thing, okay? Okay, let's see if we can... Okay, let's watch this one. So if you guys don't know, if you guys have been living under a rock or, touching grass like a normal human being, there was some controversy at the Olympics in women's boxing because one boxer beat another boxer really bad. Ah, yes, Tron, this is a segment. One boxer beat another boxer really bad. And because she looks masculine in some of her features, everyone started doing the weird transvestigation thing, which was insane. And we kind of went over it last stream where I showed how intellectually dishonest people on the right are about it. That's my topic tonight. Bro, I feel bad for the conservatives. I feel bad for the conservatives because there's no winning because they freaked out about something that didn't have any factual basis for them to be freaking out about. They just saw a woman that looked kind of masculine and they started freaking out. And then like within a couple of hours, not even a day, not a couple of days, but within hours, all of the information that you could possibly need about this topic came out. And then you saw some people try to backtrack, and then some people try to double down. Now let's get into the nitty gritty on the epistemic, underlying facts. The facts about what it means to be a woman, which is the most in-depth, nuanced conversation about gender I've ever seen a conservative give. Usually it is vagina equals woman and penis equals man, LOL. But now it's, well, if we look at the intersex, the DSD and the levels of hormones that go on inside of someone, I think that it's totally natural for people to assume, like, bro, now we're going to start talking about intersex people? Now you want to start using that? It's like actually so unbelievably baffling to me. For all the debates, like again, like I showed the conversation, or I'm sorry, the exchange that I had with Andrew Wilson, or as some people used to know him, Big Papa Fascist, on Twitter. And like he said the stupid shit, and then I called him on it. I was like, wait a second. Based on the information we have right now, the most that you could say was that this is a woman that has, some sort of intersex condition, which you said in the past to me, you would default to say that that person is a woman because they're, they have a uterus and ovaries and produce ova and, they produce the large gamete. So therefore you would default to calling them a woman. He's like, that's only one of the criteria. I was like, okay, so would that criteria work here? And after like 3 or 4, he backed himself into a corner. After 3 or 4 messages, he backed himself into a corner where he said, yeah, she is a woman. I mean, no, she's not a woman. I never said that she was trans. And then you see all the screen caps from the guy showing that he was talking about this person being trans when they're not. I just can't stand it. Anyways, so that's the basic, the basic background of this topic, okay? I'm about to join the world championship of getting punched in the face. I sure do hope I only get punched in the face a normal amount, true.
You're Imane.
Also, I don't think, I don't want to shit on the other athlete either, because I can't remember seeing anything from her saying that this person was a man. I think she just said, I can't remember ever getting punched in the face that hard. And, to preserve my health, I forfeited because there was no way I could win. Did she say anything about this being a trans person? Also not confirmed to have DSD? Yeah. But I'm just saying, based off the information, the worst that he could, accuse this person of being. And it's not something that is, a bad thing to be. But, at most, you could say that this person has some sort of, intersex condition. But obviously... Yeah.
The plot thickens on this fighter, Imane Khif, who has fought at the Olympics. Imane Khif, I think actually a fair bit of my segment on this fighter was censored from my show yesterday because of the big tech rules around discussing this. So I'll be very...
What big tech rules could keep you from talking about this? You guys talk about trans people in sports all the time. It's never ending. What about this situation is so different that would cause you to not be able to talk about it in a way that like you have been for the past, 5, 6, 7, 8 years?
Be careful in my language, but this is a very important story. Imane Khif is a fighter who's fighting against women in women's boxing. And the way this has been portrayed in the press is that Imane Khif is a man who identifies as a woman who's fighting these women. And that's what a lot of the discussion has surrounded. Now, there is some question, actually, as to whether Imane Khif really is a man. There have been conflicting reports over Imane Khif's chromosomes, over Imane Khif's testosterone levels. Is Imane Khif really a woman born with some sexual abnormalities, or a man born with some sexual abnormalities, or intersex, hermaphroditic, or what? And we don't really know. There's a lot of conflicting information. We do know that Imane Khif was prohibited from fighting women according to one of the major boxing associations, but then the Olympics cleared Imane Khif to fight this Italian, and then they get in the ring for 46 seconds, one punch, and the Italian girl says, "I'm out. This person's going to kill me." I've never been punched that hard in my life. And so that's why there's an uproar. So what I said yesterday on the show is very controversial. I said, look, the leftists are all claiming that it's perfectly fine for a man, in principle, to box a woman. The liberals, modern liberals, classical liberals, progressive liberals, libertarians, the liberal types are saying it is wrong for a man to box a woman. Only women should box women. I said, but there's actually a third perspective here, and that's the conservative perspective, and that's my perspective, which is that women shouldn't box.
I thought this was okay. Let's see if it's even interesting, like his perspective. Let's see if there's even anything to push back on.
It's wrong. I can't watch it. I think it's, and furthermore, I think it is wrong.
I can't watch any combat sport. I don't like watching people beat the shit out of each other. I don't like seeing that shit, okay? Personally, just like me, myself, I personally do not like seeing people, bloodied and, nose broken. Like, I saw one clip one time while I was at a bar. I say a clip, an instant replay of some guy kicking another guy. Like, they both kicked at each other at the same time, and one guy's shin just snapped and, like, went the opposite direction under the other guy's foot. And, like, that was enough for me to say I never will watch a single MMA fight, literally ever. I will never do it. So I don't like to watch people get beat up either.
Wrong politically for society to establish and encourage and fund and promote spectacles in which women are getting their skulls cracked in. I think that's wrong. I think that's disordered and disturbing. And there were many...
Why would it not be the same for men to see, like, it? Okay.
Many people who came out and said, Michael, you're far too extreme. You're a far-right authoritarian. Many people who would call themselves conservatives said that. I pointed out, I said, hold on, you
I'm you know what I'm actually so glad about? Number one, the TradCon stuff I think is going to start going away. I think it's going to start going away. And you know why it's going to start going away? Because people like Michael Knowles play into the memes, okay? They play into the memes that everyone keeps on saying, you guys are weird. You guys are weird. You guys are weird. And it seems to be like the most effective attack on conservatives. And I don't remember where I talked about this in a group chat or if it was in my Discord, but like the reason it seems to be working is because I think that conservatives just always felt like the normal ones. I learned Razor Leaf already? Bro, let's go. It's a berry. Cool. But yeah, I think that these guys all the other conservatives are going to start looking at these attacks like, oh, you guys are weird. You guys are weird. You guys are weird. And then you see someone like Michael Knowles, like, you know, there's one perspective that says men should be able to box against women, which I don't think. Show me like one prominent person that's making that argument. Show me someone that's not like an 18-year-old, you know, hyper-progressive kid that just graduated high school on Twitter that's saying men and women, there shouldn't be any weight classes. There shouldn't be any like gender divide between sports or anything like that. Show me someone that says that, right? Like Ollie oxen free, you know, put a 350-pound, you know, heavyweight boxer in the ring with a lightweight, you know, like 88-pound, you know, nothing woman, like barely there woman. So that's one perspective, he says. And the second perspective is like, no, men and women shouldn't be boxing against each other. And that's the progressive line. But the conservative line, which he's saying is what all conservatives should be thinking, is women just shouldn't be allowed to box. I think that the rest of the conservatives, that have been like riding around on the Trump train for so long are going to start looking at these guys and like, man, you know, maybe this shit is a little bit weird. Maybe this shit is a little bit weird. I don't want to be associated with that guy. No, I'm not with that guy. Men are dumb and have little brains, so there isn't as much damage when their skulls crack. True.
I want to conserve the great tradition of women's boxing. When do you think women's boxing began in the Olympics?
I don't know.
2012. Women were banned from boxing in the Olympics until a dozen years ago, okay? When do you think women's boxing became a thing worldwide? Outside of a handful of rare occasions that...
Man, you know, I remember watching like action movies from the 80s and the 90s where like, or like cartoons where the girl would know how to box. Like nobody gets freaked out at seeing a woman who's able to do karate or boxing or some shit like that. Nobody gets freaked out by this. This is a new invention. Nobody freaks out about this. Who is Chun-Li from Street Fighter? People don't get freaked out at the sight of a woman fighting just because it's a woman fighting.
Were quickly snuffed out. Women's boxing only began to hit anything even resembling the mainstream at the turn of the second millennium.
Wasn't Tifa in Final Fantasy VII literally a boxer?
98 in the UK, 99, 2000. So hold on, you're telling me that my extreme far-right, authoritarian, fascist, conservative position is something that everyone agreed with 25 years ago? That everybody, regardless of your...
They didn't have the event in the Olympics. Doesn't mean that nobody thought that women should box like 12 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever the it was.
Your political views? You're telling me that look, I'm a conservative, but I strongly support women knocking their skulls in on TV. Your view, which is supposedly conservative today, that would have been a radically leftist view 25 years ago. Frankly, even a dozen years ago.
No, it's not.
So all of that as
like, I wonder, like, do these guys hear themselves and how stupid it sounds? Or were they genuinely, like, brought up in some sort of weird religious, you know, commune out in the woods where the only things that they ever saw were, like, biblical texts and shit like that? Like, women join boxing gyms all the time so that they know how to defend themselves, like, if someone comes up to them on the street. You're also listening to King Idiot on the Daily Wire. This guy gets paid millions of dollars to do messaging for conservatives. All right, we can say it's King Idiot on the Daily Wire, but like, this is what conservative like media wants to push.
Context to say, what now?
Oh, read the comments. That's a great idea. I'm super curious. Paris Olympics have become a joke. France ain't living this one down. So why is men knocking each other's skull in perfectly all right? What is the rationale here? Muhammad Ali got seriously damaged from a fight. It's not a safe sport. Wait until Michael hears about women's MMA. As a former martial arts and boxing competitor, I find myself shocked to be agreeing. This is a woman. That's a woman in that picture. women shouldn't be allowed to box, then you shouldn't have done that. You should have just been, a defenseless, like, personality-less woman who just knows how to cook and what? Michael, why is the Pope not condemning the Olympics Games ceremony? Oh, man.
Imane Khif, some are saying, is not really biologically a man, that actually there's some sexual ambiguity, is raising the prospect that this person might be intersex or might be a woman, and we just don't know. So what then? If this person is intersex, it's a rare but real medical condition.
I will say, though, this is a really interesting way to, like, drift around, right? You're not even just, like, avoiding. You're drifting. Tokyo drift style around the elephant in the room, which was
someone with
everyone freaking out that this person was a woman. You realize that you can't defend that idea that she's trans because there's no evidence that she's trans. So you're instead like, how could I make this even more conservative? Because I don't want to, have a million fact checkers on me right after I, put out this video that I know would be immediately flagged for misinformation because she's not trans. How else could I do this? I know. I'm just going to say women shouldn't be boxing at all, and that way I can still be talking about this, get all the clicks and the views on the video while not actually, directly engaging with that discourse.
Someone with sexual abnormalities, should that person be allowed to fight? Or do we need yet another boxing league? We need the intersex boxing league. We just test testosterone and then we meld the women's and the men's boxing leagues, or what? Do you think, let's take it even further. Let's say this person is a woman biologically and is just like the strongest woman ever. Let's say that the claims made by the Imane Khif supporters are true, and this person is biologically, at least plausibly, a woman, and she's just, for whatever reason, super strong. And that's why, after 46 seconds, this Italian lady had to jump out of the ring because she was about to have her skull cracked in. Do you support
don't know that?
You think that's good? Well, it's two women. They agreed to fight. So, let's go. Crack her skull and let's watch that woman bleed from the head. No, I don't. That's not my view, at least. I think it's still wrong. Not because a man or a woman is doing the punching, but because it is a woman who is being punched.
Okay, I can't do it. I'm sorry. It's so boring. It's boring. It's boring commentary. There's nothing to learn from it. No, he's only anti-contact sports for women. You're in the Olympics. What do you expect? Yeah, I'm sorry, Tron. Sorry for a short segment, but that, it's so stupid. I legitimately can't watch it anymore. There's nothing that I can add to that. Watch Tim Pool. It's more fun. Link it. Or is it in content suggestions already? Okay, we'll do one more. Tron, just keep this as the same segment, I guess, because this is so dumb. Okay, let's make a prediction now, okay? Tim is not going to acknowledge that this person there's legitimately no evidence that this person is trans. He's not going to acknowledge that. He's going to instead, roll roughshod over the idea. Oh, I can't get it twice. He's going to run roughshod over the idea that there is no evidence. He's going to ignore anything that could show that there is no evidence. Yeah, he's just going to pretend. Welcome to Pretend Land, everyone. That's my prediction.
We've made it. The Olympics will have a man box a woman. So I'd like to, how do I pull up the odds on this one? This is Reuters, boxing two boxers who failed gender tests at World Championships cleared for games. Two boxers who were disqualified from last year's World Championships for failing gender eligibility tests are eligible to compete in the Paris Olympics, the International Olympic Committee said on Monday.
Say it again.
Are eligible to compete in the Paris Olympics for failing gender. Two boxers who were disqualified from last year's World Championships for failing gender eligibility tests are eligible to compete in the Paris.
Now, my understanding, based off of the couple of articles that I've read on this, I'm pretty sure they didn't get tested for that like I don't know if that test is done actually, like genetic testing. I think that what happened was there was a Russian boxing, not a Russian boxing league, but like something along those lines, or like it was held in Russia, or the Russians, or a Russian was in charge of it, and it was almost entirely funded by Gazprom, which is Russia's state oil company. And this sub-body of the like Olympic, competition committee, or of the boxing committee, this subcommittee here in Russia got kicked out because they were constantly fixing boxing matches to make money. And the person that they wanted to go up, accidentally triggered the fight. The person that they wanted to go up and fight was going to go up against this lady. And so they said that she failed, like she had the testosterone levels of a man or something, and that she was lying about her gender or something. Is that correct? Actually, let's just, you know what? Before we even start this battle, this is Reuters. Let's see if we can just find this article. Reuters boxing. 2 boxers who failed gender tests at World. Okay, so this is from before the controversy. This is the exact same article that he has. Here, I'll even make it bigger. Or does he have like an ad blocker? Why doesn't he have to deal with this shit? Okay, cool. Whatever. Last year's World Championships for failing gender eligibility tests are eligible to compete at the Paris Olympics. Algeria's Imane Khif was disqualified hours before her gold medal bout at Women's World Championships in New Delhi last year after she failed to meet the International Boxing IBA. That's what I was referencing, the Russian thing. Umar Kremlev told Russian news agencies TASS that the boxers had XY chromosomes. The World Championships were organized by the IBA, which no longer holds a federation recognized by the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, I believe. The boxing competition at the Paris Olympics is being organized by the Paris Boxing Unit, an ad hoc unit established by the IOC's executive board. All athletes participating in the boxing tournament at the Olympic Games in Paris 2024 comply with the competition's eligibility and entry regulations, as well as all applicable medical regulations in accordance with Rules 1.4 and 3.1 of the Paris 2024 Boxing Unit, blah, blah, blah. Let me see here. Okay, so this is the first article that he reads, okay? I'm sure we'll get there, Gas. Like hormone levels, I'm sure that they do like make sure like hormone levels and stuff like that is to make sure people aren't juicing, right? If this person has such high testosterone levels that it would make it look like they're juicing even though they're intersex, I'm sure that would have gotten flagged. But that's assuming that even happened.
Boxing 2 boxers who failed gender tests at World Championships cleared for games. 2 boxers who were disqualified from last year's World Championships for failing gender eligibility tests are eligible to compete in the Paris Olympics, the International Olympic.
Wait, say it again, Tim.
Ability tests who were disqualified championships cleared for games. 2 boxers who were disqualified from last year's World Championships for failing gender eligibility tests are eligible to compete in the Paris.
It wasn't even the IBA commission. It was its president who did it unilaterally after the Algerian defeated a Russian boxer. Interesting. All right, I'll hold on to that. Actually, we'll just read it now. Banned governing body that's fueling outcry on Olympic boxers has Russian ties and troubled history. 17 months ago in New Delhi, was disqualified from the championships 3 days after she won an early round bout with Azalea Ameneva, previously unbeaten Russian prospect. Disqualification meant Ameneva's official record was perfect again. The IBA said Khif and fellow boxer Lin Yuting of Taiwan had failed to meet the required necessary eligibility criteria and were found to have competitive advantages over other female competitors. The governing body claimed the fighters had failed unspecified eligibility tests, the same test that ignited a massive controversy about gender regulations and perceptions in sports this week as Khif and Lin compete at the Paris Olympics. The IBA's decision last year and its curious timing, particularly related to Ameneva's loss to Khif, would have raised warning signs around the sports world if more people cared about amateur boxing, or even knew more about the IBA under President Umar Kremlev of Russia. The entire boxing world has already learned to expect almost anything from the Russian-dominated governing body that was given the unprecedented punishment of being permanently banned from the Olympics last year. In fact, it hasn't run an Olympic boxing tournament since the Rio de Janeiro Games in 2016. The non-boxing world largely doesn't know, however, about the IBA's decades of troubled governance and long-standing accusations of a thorough lack of normal transparency in nearly every aspect of its dealings, particularly in recent years. Many people took the IBA's proclamations about Khif and Lin at face value while dragging the eligibility dispute into wider clashes about gender identity. The IOC has decades of mostly bad history with the beleaguered governing body previously known for decades as AIB. Has source of the allegations. Let me see here. Had stuck with the previous incarnation of boxing's governing body through decades of judging scandals, bizarre leadership decisions, and innumerable financial misdeeds while it presided over Olympic boxing tournaments. Not until 2019, nearly 2 years after the organization elected a president with what U.S. officials called deep ties to Russian organized crime and heroin trafficking, did the IOC finally banish the perpetually troubled group. Let me see here. I just want to see. Kremlev introduced Russian state-controlled Gazprom as its biggest sponsor and moved much of the IBA's operations to Russia after he took it over in late 2020. He also fought off a challenge to his leadership 2 years ago by essentially scrapping an election in highly dubious fashion. Oh, man. I could already smell the Gazprom money. Well, yeah, I knew about that earlier, but I thought I said it, but none of this sat well with the IOC. I just want to see if they say anything about the actual tests. Kremlev has also made additional allegations about the gender of both fighters without providing proof, and people across the world have accepted his word. That's unbelievably frustrating to veteran boxing executives like Boris van der Vorst, the Dutch businessman leading world boxing. Van der Vorst ran for the presidency of the IBA only for his candidacy to be inexplicably declared invalid. People have misidentified Khif and Lin as men or transgender. It's not very respectful for the boxers who are competing here to Chinese Taipei and Algeria to speak about them in these terms. That's what I'm trying to stress. Oh, okay. So they had also competed for years at IBA without problems, but when they beat a Russian prospect, now it's a problem. I wish they talked more about the tests specifically, but
Paris Olympics, the International Olympic Committee said on Monday, dude, I'm torn on this one because obviously you want to bet on the man to beat the man to beat the woman, but the issue is there's no real guarantee the man wins, and I'm tempted to bet on the woman, to be completely honest. I don't know how you pull this up. What's this guy's name? Algeria's Imane Khif was disqualified hours before her gold medal bout at the Women's World Championships in New Delhi last year after she failed to meet the International Boxing Association's IBA eligibility criteria. Okay, look, this is a picture, right? Tokyo 2020 Olympic boxing, women's lightweight quarterfinal, Kokugikan Arena, how do you say that? Kokugikan Arena, Tokyo, Japan. This is who's fighting who? Imane Khif of Algeria. So they've already fought in the Olympics. Apparently, did the guy win? I'm sorry.
See the guy? He's
That's
just
a
assuming
guy.
that it's a guy.
Like, look, man, we can't play this game. Okay, there are going to be biological males who want to win the $30,000 prize, which I think the gold prize is $30,000, and the gold medal, which is worth like $1,000, and you could probably sell for a lot more. I don't care what country you're from. Some poor country is going to be like $30,000 is like 5 years of work for me. I'll call myself whatever you want. So apparently,
Does this guy think that this is the only way that these people make money? Like, they're talking about other events that they were in. They have records that that amount to more than one fight or like 3 fights to get to where they're at. Like, they have a fight record. How are you going to sit here and say that these people are just doing this so that they can get a quick paycheck? These people have trained for years.
This isn't the first time. It looks like this male boxed this female 4 years ago. I guess 3 years ago because they postponed it. They say Taiwan's double world champion Lin Yuting also lost her bronze medal at the same competition after she failed to meet the criteria because they're males. At the time, the IBA president Umar Kremlev told Russian news agency TASS the boxers had XY chromosomes. The world championships were organized by the IBA, which is no longer a federation recognized by the IOC. Athletes participating in the boxing tournament of the Olympic Games Paris 2024 comply with the competition's eligibility and entry regulations. The PBU endeavored to restrict amendments to minimize the impact on athletes' preparation and guaranteeing consistency between Olympic Games. Khif next faces Angela Carini in a welterweight bout on Thursday, while Yuting takes on either Marcelat Sakobi or Satori Turdibakova in the featherweight division Friday. Let's see. Can we bet on Olympic boxing? Olympic women's boxing betting. Who's going to have it? DraftKings? Point spreads. 2024 Olympic boxing odds. I don't like this. Give me the actual betting. Odds checker. Olympic. Here we go. Are you outside? I'm American. Uh-oh. Is it redirecting me? Let's see what we got here. We got the odds checker, ladies and gentlemen. Women's betting odds. We're looking for Imane Khif, who is biologically male, and the odds. I wonder if it'll actually come up. So this is odds checker, Olympics, women's betting odds. Let me see if I can do Imane. There we go.
Okay, these are the tests that they refused to release. All right, let's see here. Oh, it's a little long. Wait, is there just like a video on it?
Please be safe and stay off the roads.
No, I don't care. International Boxing Association raised new questions while struggling to answer others Monday. Abruptly suspend, blah, blah, blah. The IBA still refused to disclose nearly all details about the tests and their results or methodologies, leading to the disqualifications of Khif of Algeria and Lin of Taiwan. Those decisions catalyzed a major uproar in Paris around the two boxers who have clinched Olympic medals, despite facing rampant misconceptions about their gender amid a wider divide over gender regulations and identity in sports. Chris Roberts, the IBA Secretary General and CEO, claimed that the Olympic committees of Algeria and Taiwan wrote letters to the IBA asking them not to disclose information about the boxers at the news conference in Paris. What information it did reveal about the test was mostly not flattering to the governing body, which received an unprecedented banishment from the Olympics last year, following decades of troubled governance and long-standing accusations of a thorough lack of normal transparency. A Greek obstetrician named Ioannis Ioannis. That is not what I would have guessed. Ioannis Philippatos said the IBA did blood tests on only 4 of the hundreds of fighters at the 2022 World Championships. The IBA said it tested Khif and Lin in response to complaints from other teams, apparently acknowledging an uneven standard of profiling that is considered widely unacceptable in sports. IBA President Umar Kremlev, an acquaintance of Russian President Vladimir Putin, who spoke on a patchy Zoom from Russia, then said through a translator that the test showed elevated levels of testosterone. That appears in direct contradiction with an IBA statement from July 31st when it said Khif and Lin did not undergo a testosterone examination but were subject to separate and recognized tests whereby the specifics remain confidential. Kremlev was unable or unwilling to discuss the science behind the IBA's tests in technical terms. Interesting. Okay. We'll keep reading, and if he says something else crazy, we'll see if that it says something.
Minus 125. Well, that makes sense. Imane Khif is the favorite. But really, they're only giving minus 125 odds? That's fascinating. I guess the question is, who is Imane Khif up against? So let's see if I can do this. Imane. We want to look up women's boxing schedule and women's Olympic boxing schedule. How do we pull that? Olympic boxing. I got it right here. Preliminary, 27th of July. Who do we got? I want to see who's fighting who. Let's pull this in, ladies and gentlemen. This one's going to be deeply informative for all of you. Let's see. All right. I don't know who any of those are. On the 30th of July, you've got, I don't see Imane. Boxing. Is this the right one? I don't even know if it's the right one, to be completely honest. Maybe I have to do a search for it. How do you search for it? Women's boxing semifinals? Oh, okay. I honestly don't know. I don't really follow this stuff, but minus 125, you'd think they'd give way,
do we have to watch the part about the...
way less. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Here's... Lizard TikTok says, meet Imane Khif, a boxer who was banned from the Women's World Boxing Championships in 2023 because he's a man. But I believe he competed in the 2020 Olympics. That's what the photo showed. However, Khif is being allowed to compete in the Women's Olympic Boxing in Paris. Just another reason to boycott the Olympics. Here's an actual video of a boxing match between... Now people are confusing this. This is important. People think this video is Olympics. It's not. Teresa Smith posts, this was Imane Khif fighting in Mexico in December 2022 against a Mexican woman. Yo, he clobbers her. And this woman gets beat up. Me, I'm excited. I tweeted, I'm really excited to see this woman get punched in the face. It's boxing. That's what happens. It's not violent. I'm saying, like, I'm excited for the boxing match. And I was trying to be, excited. They're both going to be punching each other in the face with boxing gloves in a regulated ring. And I'm excited for it. I am. Fair Play Women says, on Thursday, a male boxer will fight a female boxer while the crowds cheer and TV audiences watch on. Sex testing confirms Khif Imane has male XY chromosomes. So is this Thursday, August 1st? Do I have... This is it, right? Karini Angela. August 1st is the match. So quarterfinals. Oh, did they advance already? I don't know how to pull this up. How do you pull up the... I don't know. Maybe I got the wrong thing pulled up.
Skip.
Yeah. Oh, it's the 8th. Or is it Karini Angela?
Why is he spending so much time looking at betting markets?
This one's really funny. Olympic announcer Bob Ballard fired over a joke about women taking too long to get ready. They're going to let a dude, a male, box a female. The odds favor the male. A veteran Eurosport announcer was fired for making a joke about women taking too long to get ready after the Australian Olympic swim team took the gold in Paris.
Wait, hold on. Is the entire betting markets thing to try and say... Hold on. Hold on. Is the entire thing that he's going off of here, the betting markets are in favor of Khif, so therefore, oh my God, you can't be serious. Women can't be good at something without being assumed to be a man, I guess. I can't, dude. I don't know what to even fucking say about that, dude. How are you basing your everything off of that and a bunch of things that are seemingly being proven to be just like stupid Russian propaganda? Sorry, I was saying that, like, I don't even know how to fix whatever's going on with the crashing. Like, this only started after I updated OBS. This only started after I updated OBS and started streaming to Twitch. So I don't know what to do about the crashing. I'll see if I can fix it by tomorrow. But yeah. Anyways, we'll keep going, I guess. Anyways, why do I keep doing that? Man, I don't know. Irritating. Let's keep going.
Maybe we need to bring, like, could you imagine watching like Barstool Sports and someone there saying this and someone like, that's outrageous, how dare you? Think they'd fire somebody over this? Man. Molly O'Callahan, Emma McCone, Meg Harris, blah, 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 just beating the U.S. and China for the team's 4th straight Olympic gold, were celebrating their victory by waving to the crowd, according to the outlet. During a segment of Eurosport's coverage last night, commentator Bob Ballard made an inappropriate comment, Eurosport said in a statement Sunday, adding the longtime BBC reporter and presenter would be barred from future broadcasts, the BBC reported. Who was the guy? There was like, something happened where some dude was in an elevator and the women got in. And then he was like, which floor do you want? And they were like, floor 7. He's like, okay, 7. And he hits 5 and he goes, all right, and next floor, lingerie. And then they were like, oh, how dare you? And they got him fired. Here we go. They got him fired of this. 64-year-old commentator has since apologized. Oh, don't apologize. Come on. Here's my point. It was never my intention to upset or belittle anyone. And if I did, I apologize. I'm a massive advocate for women's sports, blah, blah, blah. Get out of here. No, you're not. They fired a guy because he made a joke about women taking too long, but they're going to let a male box a female. I think they got two.
You still haven't been able to like show.
males.
You've literally. Here's the thing. He hasn't like gone through and like shown any of the evidence. He hasn't shown literally anything. And he keeps on saying the same thing. This was made well after everybody's already been going around showing all of the different. Everyone's been going around showing all of the different evidence that goes against the idea that they're trans. So why hasn't he like even brought that up? He like just like pretends like there is no information that's come out that shows the opposite.
Boxing females. I do
Chill,
not believe
see?
that
You're
they
gonna get
actually
me in
care about
trouble.
any of this stuff. And I'm done pretending otherwise. Are we really going to live in this world where this is the standard? How dare you make a joke? Can I make a joke about the male boxing the female? Because you seem to support that. You know, guys, always beating women. What are you going to do with that joke? Right? Are you going to go, hey, you can't say that. Men don't beat women. Well, feminists would say otherwise. They say, well, actually, hey, you can't call him a man. Pick one. What are you mad about? That's why I tweeted I was excited to see this woman get punched in the face. Because, like, what if I'm being gender?
Wait.
Pick one. Well, feminist joke. Right? Because you seem to support that. This world where this is the standard. How dare you make a joke? Can I make a joke about the male boxing the female? Because you seem to support that. You know, guys, always beating women. What are you going to do with that joke? Right? Are you going to go, hey, you can't say that. Men don't beat women. Well, feminists would say otherwise. They say, well, actually, hey, you can't call him a man. Pick one. What are you mad about? That's why I tweeted I was excited to see this woman get punched in the face. Because, like, what if I'm being gender inclusive and calling the trans woman a woman? Here's what I really think. I think the Olympics is going to be rife with males saying they're female because they want 30 grand. I mean, come on, man. If you come from Algeria, if you come from North Korea, 30 grand. Now, if you come from North Korea, good luck. But you could be coming from a poor country, and you're going to be like, look, 30 grand's 30 grand. You can call me whatever you want. Like, let me ask you this question, my friends. If I walked up to you, and I bet we could do this video. This is a really good point. And I said, I will give you $30,000 in cash right now if you have everybody call you Susan. Who's going to say no to that? Because these people who are competing, they don't got to change their names. They can say, call me this for now or whatever. In the United States, the law is you don't need to legally change your name to require people to use a different name. Why?
Yeah. My legal name is different from the name that people call me. And the name that people call me in real life is different from the name that people call me on the internet. What is this? What is this argument? You don't need a legal change to have people call you a different name. Yeah, people called Donald Trump Don. People called Richard Nixon Dick. Goonfolder said war. Sorry, I'm too enamored with the name to ban. I don't even know why I would ban. Just like the vibe, but Goonfolder is too good of a name. Does Tim know what a physical is?
Why would someone forego all that money? Sorry, that's reality. The left will say, no, that won't happen. Okay, dude, well, that's because you're just making blanket assumptions. But I think when it comes to the Olympics, they'll take the money.
JD Vance called it.
Alex Stein made the joke that he was going to bet on the males to win. But the betting odds actually aren't that good anyway. It's like, it's not even a value bet. You bet $100, you win less money. Not interested. Anyway, I'll wrap that one up there. We got one more segment coming up for you guys at 6 p.m., so don't miss it. Smash the like button, subscribe to this channel. For everybody else watching.
God, he didn't say anything there, dude. He didn't present literally anything. He just said things and, like, didn't show anywhere where he even got it. Even nicknames vary for the same person depending on the context. Yeah. Like some bit, never mind. I can't say that. I can't say that. I got to be careful. I just got back onto Twitch. I got to be careful. Tim is going to be blown away at how doctors determine sex. I know. That whole segment was just to tell us you're a virgin without telling us. Well, that's the way things be right now. Unfortunately, that's the way it be. Okay. Sorry. I know that was a segment that got cut off in the middle. Really quick, if you're watching on YouTube, I see that there are 6 people watching on YouTube. Like the stream. I didn't put a new pinned comment, okay, because I was trying to get it back up for you guys. Like the stream. It helps me out immensely. Way more immensely than you could possibly imagine. Like the stream. The more people that like the stream in the first 15 minutes, the more people that will come through the stream. The more people that come through the stream, the more interaction you guys are going to have in chat. All right. It gets my channel out there. More people will see it in the feed. And if you guys are feeling generous right now, this is my only form of income. All right. I just moved across the entire United States. Well, I mean, I guess kind of right from the midline of the United States all the way to the East Coast, right on the coast. So if you guys want to help a brother out with some bills while I continue looking for a job, I got a I actually got 2 callbacks. Actually, I forgot. I got 2 callbacks for jobs, and actually, you know what? I shouldn't say this on stream. This is too public. But for any of the people that know me very well, or feel like I might tell you something about my personal life, shoot me a DM. I have to tell you about one of these jobs that called me back, and I can't take the job. Like, it's impossible. Are they good jobs or more basic jobs? I'm applying for good jobs. If I don't get something in like the next week and a half, 2 weeks, then I will fuck, I don't even know if I'll wait that long. I'll probably start sending out some. Here, I'll type it out to Bones and see. I'm just gonna copy and paste it to you. Okay. I mean, I should have known by the name of the place, but it's really funny. And I'll find screenshots, because I'm sure it's still in my internet history to find specifically the things that they were asking. But it's so funny. It's so funny, dude. The things that they were asking were so unbelievably funny. Okay, 1 second. What did I just click on, and where did it go? There it is. Trump stalled black journalist interview over fact checking. Oh, I still haven't watched this all the way through just because I haven't had time. I've been watching other things. I get your point. It's so, dude, see, I'm going to take a screenshot. I have to remember to do it, but I'm going to get a screenshot of some of the questions and then those things that they added in there. And I'll text Bones as well. It's the first time someone says, I can't take that job, and I actually agree. Yeah. Because it did not seem like the initial job offering that I filled out, it did not seem that it was like that. But then I had to go in for a second application that it was making me do, and yeah, just remind me to get screenshots. All right. What else do we have here? Get rid of that. I think we're good on the boxing stuff for right now. I'm going to hold on to that because I need that. 7 people watching, 1 like. 7 people watching and 1 like. What is wrong with you people? Like the stream, guys. Let's see. It says Trump answers whether he will debate Kamala Harris or not. Didn't Trump back out a second time? Didn't he say, I'm not going to debate her, and then, well, maybe I'll debate her. Maybe, yeah, this'll work. And then again, he backed out. Didn't he do it again? He wants to debate on Fox. Yeah, he wants to do the inverse of what happened before, because the Biden campaign, I guess, held all of the cards, and they were like, okay, it's good. Did my light just turn on and off? Anyways, yeah, the Biden campaign held all of the cards at first, and they were like, no live audience, because we know what you do with the live audiences. You rely on them to make it seem like you're winning. How's it going, Nico Pluto? And then he countered with, all right, well, since Biden's not going to be in the race anymore, we don't know who the nominee is going to be, so I'm not committing to anything. And then it moves from there to, oh, well, I'll only do a debate if it's on Fox in front of a stadium-sized audience. A full stadium-sized audience. All right, what do we name the Geodude, guys? God, it's actually annoying how insane it is to get a debate set up. Well, see, it wasn't this hard before, because until this election cycle, they used the Presidential Debates Committee or something like that. There was some committee, nonpartisan committee, that got together, and they would negotiate everything out with the 2 parties, right? They would set the basic standard rules, and then they would do the debate hosted by one news organization or another. But this time, because Trump felt all the institutions are against him and are conspiring against him, he wasn't going to use the committee that has been used for 40 years straight. 40 years straight. No, they're biased, and they're partisan deep state hacks, and so we have to use someone else, like Fox News. And we'll just do everything, in-house without using the actual committee that has set it up for the past 40 years. Joe Brogan. Okay, I've got Rock Hard for a name. Name him Joe Bro. Name him Israel. Joe Brogan. Any other names? No, I couldn't name him Israel because I might have to use like explosion or self-destruct on this guy, and I don't feel like that would be applicable. Panda Man, no. You know what? I think I scared Panda away finally. I think Panda Man is finally gone. I like Joe Brogan, okay? I like Joe Brogan. Let's go with that really quick. We're going to name every single Pokemon Joe Brogan. Check this out, golden screenshots. Call it penis? No, I'm not doing that. Trump is a liar. The Trump campaign are liars. Trump claims he won't debate on ABC because he has a pending lawsuit against ABC. But his lawsuit against ABC already existed, filed March 2024 when he agreed to do the ABC debate in May 2024. George Slopadopoulos. He can't even think of a good name against Kamala. After the 6th ad break, I switched to YouTube. Listen, it's supposed to only do two ad breaks totaling like a minute and a half per hour. I'll have to fix something. I just don't know how to because I haven't used Twitch in so long. What happened to Panda? I think I was extra mean to him last time and I banned him. I said he was a liability in Twitch chat. He didn't show back up in YouTube chat. And I think I hurt his feelings too hard for the last time. No, it's good because my content suffered as a result of having him in chat. We've actually been able to get through like a single video without getting stun locked by him. Trump is suing ABC News and George Stephanopoulos for defamation. Here's what we know about his claims. When was this? May 15th. So they finalized it May 15th. Got it. The only argument I've heard against like Trump lying to get out of the debate was that they had already settled the debate times and locations and moderators and all that before the litigation happened. And then the litigation happened and now he's like, well, now I can back out because it's not Joe Biden. Yeah, that's the only argument I've seen against this. And that was Jack in my Discord, moderator Jack. So, all right, let's see what this is.
Here's more of my interview with former President Trump. They're also attacking you for other ridiculous reasons. They're saying that you said to a crowd of Christians that they won't have to vote in the future.
Yeah, let me say what did I mean by that. I had a tremendous crowd speaking to Christians. I mean, this was a crowd that liked me a lot. I think I'm at 97% or something. And they're treated very badly by this administration.
Sorry, go back.
I had a tremendous
crowd of Christians reasons. They're saying that you said to a crowd of Christians that they won't have to vote in the future.
Let me say what did I mean by that. I had a tremendous crowd speaking to Christians. I mean, this was a crowd that liked.
Okay, sorry. This is total tangent. The tomfoolery messaged me about new claims going on around Sulfur, where Sulfur is claiming that his community brigaded my Discord and my chat. And he messaged me about that. Does anybody know where that came from? Did that come from like the Tomline video that everybody was waiting for? Because did they kind of and kind of not? But like, I just don't care, like, because it was Mantis and like 2 other people. So I like don't care that much if it did happen or like if that's the framing that we should like put it in. But like, I can't remember a time where like we complained about people brigading us. There were some brigades way early on where people were coming after the Discord and like, you know, posting horrible shit. We had no idea where that came from. There were the infrared people that came through and they almost certainly were brigading in like the classical definition of it. But I don't think that we were like complaining, oh, they're harassing us or anything like that. We just kind of like memed with it. But I just want to know where it came from, if anybody saw that. Here's the clip in question.
We have to win this election, most important election.
Oh, yeah, I've seen this clip.
We want a landslide that's too big to rig. If you want to save America, get your friends, get your family, get everyone you know, and vote. Vote early, vote absentee, vote on election day. I don't care how, but you have to get out and vote. And again, Christians, get out and vote. Just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years, you know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got it.
I like, if I'm being real, he's probably just saying like just vote this one more time because I only have one more. You know, I can only be elected one more time, right? But on the other hand, like, why the would you say this? Like, why would you willingly say this?
To me a lot. I think I'm at 97% or something. And they're treated very badly by this administration, okay? Catholics are treated unbelievably. They're like persecuted.
And I've heard people say this, that
We don't
oh, what is this?
have to run away anymore. I have brought peace to the Republic. Throw him. And to get
I was right. Can't follow.
Because of Obi-Wan.
Because of what you've done. What you plan to do. Stop. Stop now. Come back. I love you.
Liar! Jesus. Ow. Wasn't expecting the bass boost.
And if I might say, before I go into the other, Jewish people, if you're Jewish and you vote for Biden.
Oh, but like, how have Catholics been discriminated against by this administration? Here's a quick question, also off topic. If I was to start a, like, try and catch all, 251 Pokemon run, should I start that, like, here and, like, just start catching Pokemon like crazy? Or should I just, like, go through and, you know what? We're going to catch Hoodoo, and then we're going to just only catch Pokemon that we're going to use for our team. And then afterwards, we'll run through and we'll catch everyone. Because I've already started hitting him.
Or the Democrats or Kamala or whoever's going to run, I guess it's going to be her. But if you voted for her or the Democrats, you should have your head examined, because nobody's ever been treated so badly by this. This administration is destroying Israel, et cetera, et cetera. So with respect to like a statement like I made, that statement is very simple. I said, vote for me. You're not going to have to do it ever again. It's true. Because we have to get the vote out. Christians are not known as a big voting group. They don't vote. And I'm explaining that to them. You never vote.
No, he was talking
This
about
time,
Catholics
vote.
at first.
I'll straighten out the country. You won't have to vote anymore. I won't need your vote. You can go back
So
to
you
not
meant you don't have to vote for you because you have 4 years in office.
Look.
Is that
Christians
what
are known. You know who else doesn't vote? Gun owners don't vote.
But
They don't
just to
vote.
be clear, what you're saying, though, you're not saying it's being interpreted, as you are not surprised to hear, by the left as well. They're never going to have another election. He's saying there's so.
First time
so
I've even heard.
can you even?
Well, he did say that he wants to suspend the Constitution for some amount of time so that he can, he said this multiple times about different things that he wants to suspend the Constitution for. So I don't think it's out of the realm of, reasonable interpretation to think that when he says things, sometimes he means them. Oops.
You can just respond to that.
I said Christians, I started off by saying, just so you understand, you never vote. Christians do not vote well. They vote in very small percentages. Why? I don't know. Maybe they're disappointed in things that are happening, but for a long time, I say, you don't vote.
They also said that you can't try to steal an election. But we saw how that went, Sieg.
I'm saying go out. You must vote. November 5th is going to be the most important election in the history of our country. Whether you vote early or not, we should have, by the way, one-day voting. We should have voter ID. We should have proof of citizenship. And we should have paper ballots, okay? That's what we should have. But we don't have that. But I said to the Christians in the room, thousands of them, I said, typically, Christians do not vote. Why it is, I don't know. You're rebellious. Something's going on. Don't worry about the future. You have to vote on November 5th. After that, you don't have to worry about voting anymore. I don't care, because we're going to fix it. The country will be fixed, and we won't even need your vote anymore, because frankly, we will have such love. If you don't want to vote anymore, that's okay. And I think everybody understood it. I didn't know there was any.
Yeah, well, I mean, because it's the constant refrain. I mean, after they have done all the things that we've talked about tonight. Horrible. All of the things.
Russia, all the things.
And dump their guy a 50.
Man, it's so boring. It's so boring to hear him like cope about people's perception of him. It's so boring. I know, Gas, but like, I'm not going to meme on that one because that can get you banned. I'm just going to say, and they failed to steal the election. Yeah, but just because someone fails to do something doesn't mean that it couldn't have happened. Anyways. Why are you smelling the sock? I'm not smelling the sock. I'm holding it close to my mouth. What do we want to watch next? Let's watch this. Sieg linked this. Yes, let's not get Sondsol banned, please.
To start, I had hoped to work in this quote from Isaac Asimov. There is a cult of ignorance in the United States, and there has always been. The strain of anti-intellectualism has been a constant thread, winding...
Really quick, just like, there's a cult of ignorance in the United States. That immediately just reminded me of this. Let me see if I can find it super quick. A description of like the MAGA movement that made something click in my mind. Let me see if I know that Dev tweets like crazy. Yes, this one. My man is really out here explaining why MAGA operates less like a candidacy for president and more like a civil religion a la wokeness. Like that's a good thing. A civil religion. You can also like call like Islam a civil religion. Because it dominates like basically all the rules and everything for the country that you live in. It dominates the culture, et cetera, et cetera. Like everything in your civic society is dominated by a religion. And this guy describing this, finding Trump is like converting to a new religion. Once you find Trump, you wake up and realize that all you have been told before was a lie. Once you find Trump, you do not go in half-heartedly, you go all in. It's more of a conversion of mind, body, and soul than it is just a vote. That might sound a little crazy if you're not part of it, but that really is how it is. This is why his supporters, once on his side, cannot be moved. And that's why this poll is bullshit. Did he delete this tweet? I am Nico. Which cult has more pedos, MAGA or Islam? MAGA is giving a good case for them. But like, yeah, like it being described as less of a political movement and more of a civil religion, man, that really like clicks something in my brain. Because like, if you think about it, when you're arguing with, especially people that are not big religion debaters and stuff like that, you can usually catch them in a million different fallacies and stuff like that. Tell me when we're back. Marco.
A new Monmouth
YouTube people, are we back? Stream finished. One sec. Yeah, we need to figure out whatever is going on with the crash, because it's not giving me like a crash report or a crash code. So I need to figure out. Yeah, I'm sorry, Tron. Twitch exclusive continue. I mean, like, I'm really thinking about it. But anyways, YouTube should be back up now. Maybe. It's not connecting to YouTube. Okay, we're just going to continue only on Twitch then. Oh, well. Anyways, so what were we talking about? Oh, we were talking about, like, the civil religion thing. Yeah, I think that it's the first few seconds of what I posted, it vindicates you. Well, I can't wait to see. What is the vindication about? Well, as if it, Sam, I need to call you, and I will explain why I haven't called. There's an actual reason, but it's all because I'm a loser, okay?
A new Monmouth University poll came out proving, without a doubt, that Donald Trump's supporters are, in fact, a cult. This new poll shows that 62% of Donald Trump's supporters say that there is nothing the president could do that would cause them to not support him anymore. It doesn't matter if there was a quid pro quo, 62% say we support him. Didn't matter if he had colluded with the Russians, they would still support him. It probably wouldn't matter if he was out there performing an abortion while gay marrying a couple, they would still support him. Actually, you know what? I think they might not support him if he were to do that. But you get the point. And here's the thing. This is what cult members do. They create a false god in whoever their cult leader is. They believe that said leader is infallible and everything they say is right and everything people say against them is wrong. They will not waver in their support of the cult leader no matter what. They ignore the reality around them in order to put all their faith and all their trust into the cult leader. That's how cults work. And that is exactly what they have done with Donald Trump. Now, to be fair, you see this on the left as well. I mean, there's plenty of Twitter bios out there that have the hashtag still with her floating around.
All right. Love you, Sam. All right. Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like if you're not already like super bought into the Trump stuff, then you probably recognize the culty aspects of it, you know? Anyways, let's keep going.
Its way through our political and cultural life, nurtured by the false notion that democracy means that my ignorance is just as good as your knowledge. This quote is from 1980, and it's been echoed by other great thinkers like Carl Sagan, who spoke about the public being unable to grasp the technology we all use every day and having no ability to set their own agenda or ask the right questions, culminating in a celebration of ignorance. He said that in 1995. Even these two could not have foreseen how bad this has gotten in the 21st century, with people now questioning the shape of the earth and the validity of basic arithmetic. This anti-science fervor makes...
Have you guys seen the Destiny debate from yesterday where the guy... I think that I'm going to start stealing that debate strat where every time I debate a MAGA person or someone that's just like super conspiratorial, just like ask them, do you believe that the earth is round? Do you believe Witsit? Yeah, I've never heard of that guy before, but like the past two debates that he's had with like super conspiracy brain people, he just starts asking them what conspiracies they believe in, what ones they don't believe in. Like, do you think that dinosaurs are real? Right? Do you believe in dinosaurs? And neither of them believe in dinosaurs. Neither of them believe that the world is round. It's just like insane. It's actually insane. And I think that like, while it doesn't pertain to the debate topic at hand specifically, it goes a long way to show how unbelievably crazy the people that are giving people news on the internet are, especially on the right. Not to say that they aren't like that on the left, because they are, but I feel like there are fewer left-wing flat earthers and anti-vaxxers now than there were, 5-10 years ago. Can't escape. Come on. Run. Okay, bitch, you just earned yourself a one-way ticket to Pound Town. Come on, hit that. One second. Oh my God, is this going to be a 1 HP per hit slugfest between the two of us? Okay, well, that's a lot more boring than I thought it was going to be. Okay, we'll just...
Makes us easy to manipulate because any contrarian message is bought en masse, no matter who is telling it or what their motives are. We are witnessing a multimodal anti-science empire operating through mass media and legislation, moving towards state-sanctioned pseudoscience. And we don't have to speculate as to how harmful this can be. We have history to reflect upon. Persecution of scientists under Stalin was widespread. Lysenko was a non-scientist who was promoted to a high scientific position under Stalin's regime, and who convinced Stalin that genetics and relativity were evil. He denied the existence of genes. To address agricultural problems, he promoted a pseudoscientific practice called vernalization, and millions died of starvation as a result of crop failures. Scientists who refused to renounce genetics were left destitute or even executed. Are we at risk of repeating such events? Absolutely. Let's face reality. Trump is going to win the election. Could he bring a Lysenko-like figure into his cabinet and begin persecuting real scientists? Absolutely. Will he try to expand executive power and abuse his position to the point of authoritarianism? Probably. And there are plenty of wealthy people who will help him try to do that. I won't go into detail about Project 2025, but it's not a conspiracy. It's a real plan to move America into the first stages of Christian theocracy, and it's already underway. This is the evil upon our doorstep, and while it should receive far more attention than people like Terrence Howard, we should recognize that it's all different shades of the same phenomenon. Anti-science sentiment does not arise out of thin air. Science is becoming increasingly more complicated and therefore difficult for the public to understand. And some people lash out due to the discomfort this produces. But more importantly, there are vested interests in promoting this mentality stemming from Republican-funded think tanks. The deliberate sculpting of a populace that is not only science illiterate, but actively hostile towards science. Denial of climate change is in the interest of energy producers. Denial of basic evolutionary biology is in the interest of Christian theocrats. These efforts go all the way up the ladder to figures like the Koch brothers. I'm not saying Terry's funded by the Koch brothers, but he rides this prevalent attitude of reality denial and hostility toward any form of expertise to this bizarre prominence that now has people questioning second-grade math. To wield an agenda that is in opposition with science, one must popularize the notion that science is wrong and evil. Universities, the places where you gain knowledge, are evil. Don't go there and learn things so that you can figure out how to resist our brainwashing, and also how to organize and topple our political structures. Universities are famously places that stand up against the powers that be, so they must be demonized. It is a successful campaign because many people are happy to have a reason to not learn anything and cling to primitive beliefs without basis or self-scrutiny. It goes without saying that religion is...
I think that there's some validity to a lot of this. I think that unfortunately it's not relegated to the Trump side, and I guess he said that. The left does it too, but the problem is that, oh my God, why is this guy have so much health? Just 1 HP at a time. Lord, what was I saying? Oh yeah, but I don't think that it's relegated to one side. I guess like if he's specifically talking about like Trump and the danger that he shows in terms of like cabinet appointees, I 100% agree. There's some stuff in here that I probably wouldn't look at in the same way as him, like the masses just being controlled and stuff. I feel like that's a lot harder to do. I feel like it's a lot harder to do than people think it is
a primary driver of anti-science mentality because scientific progress, particularly as of late, has challenged many religious narratives, such as immaculate divine creation. This triggers fear of mortality as their narrative is eroded, and they lash out in precisely the same way as one would defend themselves against physical violence, with hostility and tribalism. At the same time, this is not purely a religious issue. It has at this point completely permeated secular politics. I myself am not a Democrat, and I no longer vote Democrat out of total disillusionment with the party, as it does not have the best interests of the American people in mind. But the Republican Party is cartoonishly apocalyptic in comparison. Know nothing, proudly stupid, in denial of truly all science, actively pushing us back into the Dark Ages in terms of both ignorance and authoritarian control by the church. In the wake of this, to pretend that idiots like Terry should be given a voice is preposterous. He is not the culprit, but he exacerbates larger trends already in place. He does not deserve a platform. He is not part of any
Didn't Neil deGrasse Tyson give a response to this guy? Oh, a pollywag. Oh, that's bad for Joe. Here, we're just going to tackle him. Oh, no, he's dead. I want to catch the pollywag. What have you been up to? Playing Pokemon, man.
Legitimate conversation, and most of the
unpacking.
The figures with any kind of expertise that shoehorn their way into the conversation have ulterior motives as well, and only serve to further confuse the public, like Eric. So let's get down to brass tacks. What is anti-intellectualism at its core? It boils down to three principles. 1. Religious anti-rationalism, essentially emotions over facts. 2. Populist anti-elitism, or the rejection of intellectual institutions. And 3. Instrumentalism, the belief that pursuit of knowledge only serves practical means, namely profit. This movement intends to halt the act.
I am playing on normal speed because I just got this emulator, so I'll probably mess with the emulator settings soon. But what do we want to name the pollywag, guys? Give me some suggestions. He really thinks right-wingers use emotions over facts? Yeah, I think Got to soak in those nostalgic tunes for a bit first. I feel it. Yeah, no, I mean, like, there we go. As a staple to leftists, I'm sorry, neither side is like, when it comes to like the extremes of either side. No, actually, I don't think very many sides at all right now are not using emotion over logic, but like it's emotion plus like a grounding in reality that I would want, right? Like if you're gonna be like all emotional about something, at least have like some basic facts of the matter correct, you know? Which is why like I'm no longer a socialist, which is why I'm like more Democrat than Republican. Anyway, let's finish this.
Acquisition of new knowledge that would undermine groups with power and privilege. Misinformation that benefits those in power is perpetuated, and those who speak truth to that power are preemptively character assassinated. The educational sphere is not completely blameless, admittedly. Part of the disdain towards academia is fostered by the increasingly high cost of education, but this is not in itself a justification for abandoning the sanctity of centers of knowledge. Corporations do not have their financial interests challenged when the public cannot even identify the issues that they are harmed by, thus perpetuating their own subjugation. We can historically blame the fossil fuel industry, the tobacco industry, and so forth, but we do not extend this to scientific knowledge itself. Politicians, corporations, and religious institutions stand to benefit the most from promoting anti-intellectualism. They enact the politicization of nonpartisan issues, polarizing...
I'm sorry, there's just like so much extra baggage in here that I don't agree with, that I can't like co-sign this entire video. There's like certain aspects of it that I agree with, but it's like overly broad in some areas and then like way too narrow in other areas. It's just like a little too much, right? I can handle a certain amount of like someone just being wrong about something or having, you know, opinions like that. But yeah, 1 second. Can you link the video and the video or doc with a timestamp or bookmark, whatever? I guess like I'm being pulled back into the Tom stuff again, and I don't want to get involved in the Tom stuff again, guys. I'm not gonna lie. But here we are. Don't care. Think we're done with that. Actually, you know what? Let's just try and find out ourselves. Yeah, let's do Tomline. I don't know whose channel it was posted on. Tomfoolery. Anybody know like the link to the Tomline? Oh, I just typed in the first.
Hi everyone.
Okay.
How are we doing?
I thought I paused it. The Tomline is here, a complete and comprehensive timeline of Tom Tint allegations, lore, and more. It is 8 hours and 21 minutes? What the hell? No.
Hey everyone.
Damn it.
Hello. Okay, you were on for the 12th, 1300 hours.
What is the audio? You're right. Remember what you said about being weird? What the fuck is this picture, bro? Wait, hold on. Wait, what is this? What is this picture though, dude? I can't lie. I kind of dig it. You'll never know or want loneliness again, Trump said. The world was cruel to you, but you have Trump now. Oh my God. It's so dumb. Okay. Transcript. Make rabbits wear glasses again. They're nearsighted. Sondsol. Here, let's start at the beginning. Maybe they'll say Sondsol. It'll pick it up as sound. So that's 1. Where was 2? 3.
Sounds like software didn't even really know, so I don't know what this is about, and it's too esoteric.
Okay, I don't think I'm going to be able to find this. This audio will end chat. Sorry. Why would anybody watch this whole thing? The infamous list. Sulfur. Maybe we should look up sulfur. All right. You know what? Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to go help my girlfriend with something super quick. If someone could find me a timestamp in here of whatever Sulfur said,
Yes, which is a
please let me know, okay? JFK Jr. admits dumping bear carcass in New York Central Park. What the? Okay. Here, we'll just... All right, give me 2 seconds. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. Okay, never mind. Tom is going to get me the timestamp. Have I listened to this?
I agree with you, man. Something's wrong with that whole system. And, you know, and it's the doctors you find. Remember I said I want to do small doses. Anyway, I would love you to do something. And I think it'll be so good for you and so big for you. And we're going to win. We're way ahead of the guy. And, you know, he's interesting. He was very nice, actually. He called me. And he said, how did you choose to move to the right? Because, you know, so I guess that's, people say, you know, if I was looking straight on, right? He said, I said, I was just showing a chart. I didn't have to tell him the chart was on all the people pouring into our country, right? But, no, I just turned my head to show the chart. And something wrapped me. It felt like a giant, like the world's largest mosquito. And it was a bullet going right. You know, it was, what do they call that, an AR-15 or something? That was a big gun. Those are pretty tough guns, right?
Why is everything that he says, like everything that he talks about, everything that he says just sounds stupid? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Literally everything that he says sounds stupid. Got people come onto Twitch and I immediately have like 5 people trying to court me for debates. It's crazy how that happens. Hey, this brings lesser of two evils to a whole new level? What do you mean? Okay. Damn, Tom struggling to find that timestamp. Jesus. RFK is clearly the better choice, man. You know what? He is a better choice than Trump. He is a better choice than Trump. But it's telling that you're saying RFK is the better choice because of the brainworms and all that. Want to come on my panel? Please, God. There are like 2 panels right now that I think... Welcome back to the relevant platform. Thank you. Oh, I was doing okay on YouTube. I was doing pretty okay on YouTube. I'll look at the... I probably won't... I'm running out of steam rapidly, okay? I'm thinking about just like 1.25, 1.5ing this and just playing Pokemon, but yeah, I know. I saw the headline that you linked. Recounted how he dumped a dead bear cub in New York Central Park in 2014, which is insane, but why is everything about this guy crazy? Anyways, let's see here. All right, we'll watch the thing, see if there's any updates on the Egyptian money thing, because that's pretty insane that this is only just now coming out. But really quick before we jump into our possibly last segment of the day, okay? This is my only form of income right now, okay? Still injured? No. Okay. But yeah, this is my only form of income right now. So if you guys are feeling, you know, generous or anything like that, you guys want to help a brother out, please feel free to use that donation link. Feel free to use the your Prime gift or your Prime subs. All right. Those sorts of things right now, very, very helpful for me. All right. Subscribing to the YouTube and watching videos over there, et cetera, et cetera. I have to keep on getting, you know, I have to keep on getting people to donate just so that I can get enough ramen noodles to get me through to the point where I can get a job. All right. So if you guys are feeling helpful or anything like that, hit me up with some cash. The market crashed, you couldn't tell. I heard people talking about that today, but like when I clicked on the news tab of X and when I clicked on the news tab Polo. Okay. All right. We're going to get through this video and then we're going to have to end. And then I'm going to have to fix my OBS, okay?
Big lies Donald Trump told after announcing his campaign for the White House in 2016 was that his campaign would be totally self-funded. That, of course, was not true. Trump only self-funded about 20% of that campaign and turned to donors and super PACs to pick up the tab whenever possible. But at the very end of October, less than 2 weeks before the 2016 election, the famously cheap Donald Trump opened up his wallet.
Today I wrote another check for $10 million. I'm spending money like crazy.
Today, the Washington Post is out with breathtaking new reporting that paints that last-minute $10 million cash infusion in a whole new light. The U.S. government had classified intelligence indicating that Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi tried to give Trump $10 million to boost his campaign at almost the exact same time. In September of 2016, candidate Trump, who was already calling for his infamous Muslim ban, met on the sidelines of the UN General Assembly for a closed-door meeting with the Egyptian president.
He's a fantastic guy, took control of Egypt, and he really took control of it. And I thought it was a great meeting. We met for a long time, actually. We had a long meeting and got along. There was a good chemistry there. You know when you have good chemistry with people, you're the king of that. And there was a very good chemistry, good feeling between us.
About a month after that great meeting, Trump gave his campaign that...
Really quick, Kalinda, shoot me another message. Everything gets buried super fast for me with the group chats and stuff that I'm in.
$10 million check. And then a few months after that, just 5 days before Trump was sworn into office, the Washington Post reports that a bank branch in Cairo received an unusual letter from an organization linked to the Egyptian intelligence service. It asked the bank to kindly withdraw nearly $10 million from the organization's account, all in cash. Inside the state-run National Bank of Egypt, employees were soon busy placing bundles of $100 bills into 2 large bags, according to records from the bank. 4 men arrived and carried away the bags, which U.S. officials later described in sealed court filings as weighing a combined 200 pounds and containing what was then a sizable share of Egypt's reserve of U.S. currency. Now, there are a few incredibly important pieces of context here. One is that this kind of cash transaction being a potential bribe from the Egyptian government is very much within the realm of possibility. New Jersey Senator Democrat Bob Menendez was just convicted last month on charges of accepting hundreds of thousands of dollars of bribes in the form of envelopes full of cash, as well as literal gold bars. Cash and gold bars that came from Egyptian intelligence agents.
Why the is Egypt so effective at bribing our politicians? They got Bob Menendez. I guess now they've got Trump. That's insane. Did you link me something about the stock market? Me, sorry. There's like so many things, so many people messaging me right now. Like literally currently, right this second. Brittany from Politically Provoked.
Agents from the same agency involved in this nearly $10 million cash withdrawal. The other key piece of context here is that Egyptian President al-Sisi is not, as Trump put it, a fantastic guy. He is an authoritarian despot who overthrew Egypt's government with military force in 2013 and has stayed in power through sham elections since then. But despite that fact, President al-Sisi was one of the first guests President Trump invited to the White House and one of the first foreign leaders Trump met with on his very first international trip. Throughout all of his presidency, Trump cozied up to al-Sisi, despite el-Sisi's brutal crackdowns on political opposition and his blatant consolidation of power and his disregard for human rights. At one point, Trump was even overheard calling President al-Sisi his favorite dictator. Clearly, there is more than one. So all of this,
Jesus
the classified U.S. intelligence...
There's no amount of, quotes like that or actions that he could take where he's, showing that he is pro-dictator, at least if it's someone that he likes personally. I don't understand how people don't... So I did? I'm sorry, Sig. Literally, I'm trying my best. I'm trying to be a better person about responding to people's DMs and texts and everything, but I'm really, really bad about it. I am improving, but I'm really bad about it. Let's see if Deep State can take out the Centrit.
That el-Sisi tried to give Trump $10 million the $10 million cash withdrawal by Egyptian intelligence outside of Cairo. All of this is red hot. So why are we just learning about it now? Well, the other half of this incredible new piece from the Washington Post is about how federal prosecutors investigated all of this for years. And then, knowing everything I just laid out, Trump's Attorney General, Bill Barr, seems to have made that investigation just go away. Back in 2018, in the middle of the Mueller investigation into Russian interference in the 2016 presidential election, the D.C. federal courthouse was filled daily with reporters looking for clues, looking for leads. But on December 14th of that year, something happened that made it decidedly much more difficult for those reporters to do their jobs. That day, court officials mysteriously shut down an entire floor of the federal courthouse, restricting access to both the press and to the public. Now, reporters assumed at the time that all the cloak and dagger maneuverings were related to Russia. But 2 years later, we learned it was about a separate investigation looking into whether the Egyptian government could have backed the
my God, did they use the Russia stuff as cover? Did they use it as cover for the actual, like, collusion that they did with Egypt? Bro, it can't be fucking real,
millions
man.
of dollars that Donald Trump donated to his own.
Mind you, even though that there is now like some amount of evidence that is showing near direct proof that Donald Trump took $10 million from the Egyptian government, this will change nothing in the mind of the Trump voter. The Trump voter has been convinced that Joe Biden is a crime boss, like crime lord, with his entire family over money that they haven't been able to prove has been, you know, like some sort of malintent with the money or malfeasance with the money whatsoever. They haven't been able to show any proof of that whatsoever. The MAGA voter is unconvincible. That is your first mistake. I don't think it is. I don't think it is a mistake. I think that it's true. For the average Trump supporter, when it comes to Donald Trump's actions, I don't think that there's anything that I could say, any amount of proof that I could bring forward that would change a Trump supporter's mind. TLDR oil. Well, I imagine like literally any kind of instability anywhere is going to have an effect on the market, right? Do you see the reaction to Rittenhouse wanting to support Ron Paul? Yeah, they bullied him until he said that he was going to support Trump. YouTube chat is broken. Yeah, well, everything is broken right now. I think I have to like go back and unupdate my OBS because right after I updated OBS, it completely messed up everything. But anyways, let's finish this.
Own campaign in 2016. And today, in an exclusive and deeply reported investigation by the Washington Post, we are learning about how a $10 million
OBS is just crashing.
Cash withdrawal at a bank in Cairo 5 days before Donald Trump was inaugurated.
That was the most cult-like behavior I've seen. But man, like, I see that all over the place. When it comes to... Oh, 1 second. When it comes to, like, Trump people, like, that's what I see the most of. It's that kind of cult behavior. They're like... I haven't ever heard a conservative bring up as, like... I haven't heard a conservative who's, like, a staunch Trump supporter bring up any legitimate, like, from a conservative standpoint, in terms of, like, you know, historically how conservatives have been in the United States, right? I haven't heard them bring up any criticisms of Trump unless they're never Trumpers. When they talk about like the fiscal responsibility is obviously not there, the debt's rising, you know, stuff like that. You don't hear that from Trump people because they think that whatever he does is fine. There's no moral thing that you can point out with Trump that would make Trump supporters like him less. He is like legitimately one of the slimiest public figures in the entire world. He's just slimy with everything that he does. Nothing that he does is real. right? Unless it's for the purposes of self-aggrandizing. That's literally all he ever does. And yet I still have people, even like the like more reasonable conservatives that I know, both in my real life and online and in stream chat, that like turned anti-Trump for like 2 years, and then like in the election cycle here, I guess they're so scared of Kamala Harris that like all of the legitimate fears about Trump doing the things that he says that he wants to do, and the things that he says that he like thinks he can do, like all that's thrown out the window because a Democrat's going to get elected. But like, man, like voting for Trump right now is like you're either I don't even know what to like say. I don't know what to say to you. If you're a principled conservative and you want to vote for Trump still? Sondsol is against gifts? Yes, I am. Take Trump out of your mouth. Listen, I'll say whatever I goddamn want, okay? But I just genuinely don't understand it, man. I think the closest I've ever been like that with a politician was Bernie Sanders. I was really deep into the sauce on Bernie Sanders. But if he would just like showed himself to be like a horribly immoral, like conniving, self-aggrandizing person day after day after day after day after day, saying stupid shit. I'm not saying like policies I disagree with, but like unintelligent statements. Like him talking to military advisors and saying, I hear that you guys are coming up with a new electric boat. Oh, that's really cool, but I think it's really dangerous. Like, imagine there's a shark. Imagine a shark's coming at you, and you're on this electric boat, and it capsizes, and you have to make a choice of whether to like climb on top of the boat that now is like electrocuting you or getting eaten by a shark. Like, don't you think that that's a problem that the military should take into consideration? And he brags about having this conversation as if that was a really smart thing to bring up. He's not a smart man. He is just a deeply unserious, unintelligent person. And the people that he puts around him might be intelligent, but they're deeply immoral, and they just want to like put in place what their vision of America is in like the most authoritarian way possible. I don't think that Trump necessarily would or could do that on his own, but the people that he surrounds himself with do want to do that. They're the ones that wrote the Project 2025 shit, where they want to replace all parts of the administrative state down to the lowest level with yes men. People that will not stand up and say no to something that Donald Trump wants to do, even if it's immoral, even if it's out of pocket, even if it's against the Constitution. They want to stack the entire administrative state for Trump. I just don't understand. I can't understand the mind of someone that wants to vote for Donald Trump. I don't, especially at this point. They are not yes men, they are free thinkers. Hold on, Sig. I'm partly talking about you here because you said last stream that you like would consider voting Trump over Kamala Harris, right? Which is, unless I'm like totally misunderstanding what you said there, and in which case I'll take that back. But like I don't understand like what the draw is of Trump, given everything that we know about the man. The man is insane. And if I had to choose, I would vote Trump over Kamala. Yeah, I don't get it. I'm probably not voting. Well, that's probably more principled than voting for Trump. You know, sleeping with porn stars? Yeah, Sieg's getting some all the time. I know how he is. I said it earlier here. Sorry, I can't. I'm trying to listen to this and play the game and read chat.
How that intensified that.
But yeah, like it's not even like like an attack on you. It's just like the idea of I sympathize way more with people that voted for Trump in 2016 than I do with people that voted for him in 2020. But I can still sympathize there to a certain extent. But what I can't sympathize with is at this point choosing Donald Trump to lead our country again, saying, you know what, that man deserves a second chance at the White House. 2016 Trump was nothing compared to 2024 Trump. Well, 2016 Trump I feel like he evolved. Yeah. He evolved into what he is now because of the attacks from people on the left, rightfully calling out the dumb bullshit that he said constantly. No, a policy or what she wants to do. Well, I think that there was something that some press conference she gave today or something where she disavowed all of the like especially crazy things that she said on the 2019 like primaries campaign trail. But I don't vote for someone because they are not the other guy. I mean, okay, I understand you there. I thought that you were saying that you were voting for Trump over Kamala Harris before. And I feel like Nair Socks did say that, but anyway, let's finish this because I'm almost out of steam. We got to get through this.
And about the effort inside Trump's DOJ to bring that investigation to a close. Joining me now is one of the journalists who broke that story, Carol Leonnig. She is, of course, a Pulitzer Prize winner and a veteran investigative reporter at The Washington Post. Carol, this story is not to be believed. And thank you for being here tonight. First, just, you know, there are a lot of ins and outs, but as you understand it from your reporting, where do investigators, or where did they suspect this money may have come from? And where were they concerned it might have gone?
Alex, first off, thanks for focusing on this story, which was incredibly difficult to report out, involved a lot of sensitivity, including where I'll start the story, which is classified intelligence. The CIA basically alerted the Department of Justice in the early part of 2017 that they had information from an informant and other corroborated sources of intelligence that investigators at the time described as jaw-dropping. The intelligence suggested that the president of Egypt, Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, was planning and arranging to send $10 million illegally to help Donald Trump's re-election effort. You may remember at that time that there was this concern in Donald Trump's campaign world that after the Access Hollywood revelations, donors were backing away from him. He didn't have any money left. It was running on fumes, and his aides were asking him to write a big check of his own money to the account, and he would not do it. Well, in September, he meets el-Sisi, and at the end of October, he writes this check. What the intelligence suggested and what led to and spurred the Department of Justice investigation was that el-Sisi wanted to help Trump, who was even at that time promising a great relationship with Egypt if he was elected president, and that investigators needed to get Trump's bank records to try to figure out, did this money, mysterious money that they later learned had actually been withdrawn, just as the intelligence suggested, from one of the accounts linked to the Egyptian intelligence agency, did this money withdrawn and put in duffel bags weighing 200 pounds in $100 U.S. bills, a very large percentage of U.S. bills then in the Egyptian currency of all of Egypt. Did that money that got withdrawn 5 days?
They cleared out their reserve currency of U.S. dollars and put it in duffel bags, dude.
Before Donald Trump became president, did it land in Donald Trump's accounts? From the investigator standpoint, they would never be able to answer that question because as soon as they began proposing subpoenas to do this, the U.S. attorney said that she, Jessie Liu, needed to review this and brief the attorney general, a fairly new attorney general named Bill Barr. And within days of reviewing the intelligence herself, meeting with Barr, conferring with him, she returned to investigators and said she no longer believed that this was a good idea to subpoena Trump's bank records. The FBI was so angry that they began preparing their version of an ultimatum.
Here's a quick question. If she was to carry on the policies that Joe Biden has been doing, they're like in terms of the economic side of things, right? Where it comes to the... Oh my God. If she like focused on like the economic stuff that Biden's been doing, would you vote for it then? Like I'm just in terms of like what you would or wouldn't. Yeah.
Was if we can't ever look at Trump's bank records, which are a pretty easy thing for federal investigators to subpoena, if we can't get those, then there is no chance in the world of us ever getting to the truth or the bottom in this investigation.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much here, Carol. And one of the things I'm quite interested in is, you know, there's an aspect of money laundering, it sounds like in here. I'll read an excerpt from the piece. Investigators saw hallmarks of an international money laundering operation in the way the funds moved into and through accounts ahead of the cash withdrawal, indications of a potential crime that may or may not have been related to an effort to help Trump. So there's the effort to help Trump. There's actually the source of this money. And then there's the investigation potentially being quashed. What stands out to you as the most, I think, disturbing element of what is already a fairly disturbing story?
You know, I'm not the person to decide what's disturbing. I'm an investigative reporter. I learn a lot about how criminal investigations and sensitive intelligence is handled, but particularly sensitive criminal investigations involving high-profile people. And what my colleague Aaron Davis and I heard over and over again as we reported this out, looking at people's contemporaneous notes, looking at records from the investigation, reviewing documents that are still secret, Alex. What we heard over and over again was that there was chilling, jaw-breaking intelligence that pointed to a potential money laundering operation in an effort, at least by the Egyptian president, to bribe or compromise Donald Trump. And that when evidence was gathered by Mueller's team at the very end of the Mueller probe, when this evidence was gathered of this mysterious cash withdrawal of exactly the amount that El-Sisi apparently intended to give Trump, when that document was found, investigators thought, we have a lot of smoke here. There's got to be a fire. We've got to chase it down. But they were stopped.
Well, I mean, as you note in the piece, the statute of limitations has expired. The deadline for bringing charges under the federal statute of limitation for illegal campaign contributions expired, I think, January 15th of 2022. But it is hard to imagine with reporting like this that this story ends there. Carol Leonnig, it is revelatory bombshell reporting, deserving much more deeper discussion. Thanks for making the time tonight. I really, really appreciate it.
It's crazy that that won't change anybody's opinion. It'll solidify everyone where they are, you know? Yeah, the house thing, I know that people have, like, the Adam and Sitch guy, he said that he was going to vote for Trump because of the house thing. But, like, of all things, when, like, the totality of everything, not just, like, Trump, but, like, look at the rest of the Biden administration's economic record. Like, it's been pretty good. The amount of stuff that they've been able to get done is actually unprecedented, but yeah. I will look at some of those articles that you guys sent me about the economy. Tron, don't hide the Pokemon. People need extra stuff in the background. People love Subway Surfers in the background. My version of Subway Surfers is Pokemon, okay? I love you guys very much. This has been fun. Have I seen the Adam clip? If you can find it within, like, the next 30 seconds, I will watch it. Yeah, the Monopoly busting is pretty based. I didn't think that they were actually going to get it done. Okay, quick. This better be fast.
Like a policy.
6 minutes? No. Remind me to watch it next time. All right, I love you guys very much. Oh, yeah, we can raid on Twitch. Who shall we raid? Who is live? Let's raid into counterpoints. Why not? All right. Everyone pile into the raid. I love you guys very much. It's time for me to eat dinner. I've been holding in pissing for like the past 2 hours, so I really have to pee. So here we are. Anyways, I love you guys very much. It's been fun. I will catch you guys next time.